I got my scarf, got my old coat. I got a footy game to go to. Footy's on, footy's here again. Back to greet me like an old friend. And, well, that's the thing about, that's what I like about. Yeah, that's the thing about football.
Inverleigh and Anakie with Dale and Rob.
94.7 The Pulse. Across Geelong, the Surf Coast and Bellarine Peninsula. Welcome to the match of the day. Broadcast on The Pulse. Now, here to bring all the action to your radio, our team on 94.7 The Pulse.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Moreton Power Oval at Inverleigh for our GDFNL match of the day, live on 94.7 The Pulse. We have another change to the commentary team. Grubby's gone down for the count again, but the old stalwart, former Geelong champion, premiership player, and local coach, Dale Smith. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Rob. Yes, good to be out here this afternoon. As I said, the conditions today, again, not too bad for football, and looking forward to what this game will bring in. Inverleigh, obviously a few injuries, but Anakie have made themselves, or got themselves into the top 5 now, and I reckon they would want to win this game to stay in there.
There were a period of time where the Geelong Footy Club had 5 Inverleigh players on their list. You were one of those. This is where it all started for you many years ago, along with Malcolm Reid and Rod Blake and Murray Whitcomb, and Alan Woodman even started his junior career out here. All champions of this district. It must have been a great time back then for you young fellas to have so many Inverleigh people running around with the Cats.
It was very nice to be actually the younger one of them, because the other ones all looked after me when I got in there, mate. So that was always nice. So yeah, I think even Graham Blake had a bit of a run in the second down there as well. So it's been. And
Brendan Reid got awful close to it.
There's quite a few here, mate, that come from out here that have got in there. So yeah, obviously the fresh air out in the country doesn't do the boys too much harm, I didn't think.
No, it was a damn good environment. Now, in the absence of Grubby, we unleashed him a couple of weeks ago, and he's now back to provide some expert commentary for us today. Our production manager, Tyler Kremen. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Rob and Dale. Expert is it's a word that I'm not sure that I'd use, but
you're carrying it with you.
I'll take it and I'll run with it for today. It's going to be a beautiful day out here. Not too much wind about. Interesting to see. Inverleigh for the first time for me this year, but I've seen Anakie a few times, so we'll see how it goes down. You
make sure your phone stayed on, because Grubby might send you some...
I'm sure I'll get some words of wisdom from Grubby.
And good afternoon to you, Richard. You are obviously recovering, and we wish you all the very best, and presume that you will be back here next week where you belong. But it's unusual to have a coverage of the Geelong and District footy without you. So thinking of you, mate. Best wishes. Big game today for both clubs. Looking at the ladder, Dale, it's one of those classic 8-point games, and directly sitting above them is another classic too. I think Bannockburn are playing another side level with them on Bellpost Hill. So these are two, as much as the match of the day probably in quality is 1 versus 2. I think these two games sitting at the bottom end of the 5 are going to go a long way to setting up who's going to be playing finals.
Yeah, it's getting to the stage now, Rob, where you can't afford to start dropping these games. If they're 50-50, they can make a bit of a difference towards the end of the season. Then you're going to have to start winning these, because I reckon most clubs would have sat back and looked at where they're sitting at the present time. And I reckon with North Geelong currently sitting on 36 points, I reckon 44 would probably get you in, but then you would need to be doing some best work. As I said, the good thing about this season is most times we're looking at a season that's done and dusted with the top 5, and we're just playing out the season to start finals. But this year, as I said, it can go right down to about 8 or 9 at the present time. They can all physically make the top 5, and that's what they'll be aiming to do. So some really important games today, as we said, and I'm looking forward to seeing some of the results as they come through, especially one playing 2 out at the, I think, Belmont Lions out there this afternoon, so that'll be interesting as well.
We know that the Anakie side have recruited strongly. There's players come from far and wide to get the team to where they are, which is vastly improved and looking like a finals team. Inverleigh, it doesn't seem all that long ago, Dale, that you and I called their premiership win. The side is almost unrecognisable now. There's 9 players in today's side under the age of 21. I was just talking to Chris Moore, and while he's a development coach and he's very excited about that and the future, The fact is that with that comes inconsistency, and he mentioned that last week against Geelong West they really struggled to nail that game, and he sort of thought it was about that some of the kids weren't quite nailing the full four-quarter effort that's required. And again today, it's going to be the input of those young fellas that'll go a long way to how they perform.
Probably the big difference, Rob, is when you're playing reserve footy or junior footy and you come out and called into a senior side, the length of quarters, the physical nature of the game and all that sort of stuff can take its toll as it starts to roll out. But having said that, as I said, you've got to blood these kids at some stage. It's a good opportunity to get them into the side. They did it last week. Yes, they got over the top of Geelong West. Geelong West haven't travelled that well all season. They've been in games for a lot of it, but then unfortunately fell over. And again, it's another situation here this afternoon. You can see all these kids come out, and they've just got to do what they normally would do and put their best foot forward. The only, as I said, I've probably spoken about this before, with kids, you know you'll get effort. As they get older, then that's when they start to cheat on you a little bit. So I reckon, if, as I said, they'll have a fair dinkum crack out there this afternoon, but they will need to be at their very best, because Anakie, as I said, I thought they're in the top 5, but that was looking at last week's ladder, mate, not this week. So they have dropped out after their so they need to win. So it's a very important game for both sides.
So let's have a look at the other games, and we have seen Werribee the last 2 weeks since I come back. I watched them perform really, really well. They had a little lull against Bannockburn, but they started strongly, finished particularly strongly and running away. And when they went to North Geelong last week, I expected them to really push the ladder leaders, but they were never at any stage in the contest. 11 goals to 1 down at quarter time. Today's vital for them. They may have even already lost their chance to play finals, but if they don't win today, they can certainly kiss it goodbye. They meet Thompson, admittedly down at Werribee, but which Werribee's going to turn up?
Well, yeah, that's the big thing, I suppose. As I said last week, I don't think there would have been too many sat back and would have thought that result would have come about. But as I said, when an opposition side kicks 11 goals in the first 22 minutes of a game, you know that they're playing some good footy. And as I said, if I had been the opposition captain, I reckon I would have gone to the umpire and asked for a head count, because it just seemed to me that they had an extra player looking when they went forward. They just been able to create a space for themselves, and the number of times that the ball was just looped over the top, and they kept getting closer and closer to goal. And their efforts there obviously were pretty good, because North Geelong finished well. But having said that, they've had a week to sit back and look at things, and they will need today to front up, a bit probably like Carlton was going to do on Thursday night, but didn't turn up again. And there's a couple of Carlton boys, Grubby being one, and Robbie Mumble Simic, he'll be sitting in the car over there somewhere listening to this, and he'll be devastated. I haven't heard from much from him for the last couple of days.
David Steele back in the studio was also very grumpy this morning.
Well, it'll be a very peaceful afternoon this afternoon, I can tell you. So that's one of the bonuses of Carlton getting beaten again. Getting back to this, what I'm talking about here, Werribee will need to respond heavily, because, as I said, Thompson they can't take lightly. But at home, I would think they have more of an opportunity, obviously, to win the game, but they would need to bring their very best to do that today.
Tyler, you, like me, have seen them the last couple of weeks. One, you were analysing more closely in the game at Bannockburn, so I suppose you had to look. Last week you had other duties to perform, but could you believe the contrast in the two performances?
Look, I tend to lean more to the side of, I think North Geelong just played out of their boots. That first quarter was unbelievable.
It was.
You know, the flow they found space wherever they wanted to. They were clean, concise. They had good disposal, and they worked together beautifully. While Werribee were down, yes, but I think it was more of a North Geelong showcase than a Werribee falling asleep at the wheel on that one. So especially in comparison to the week prior, where they were stronger, I think it's something we've sort of been saying for a while. Werribee centre's fantastic. Their forward line is good if they're kicking straight. If they've got good forward skills and they're hitting the scoreboard well, they are a very strong team. Potentially the back line is their biggest weakness. But we look back 2 weeks when we said, you know, if they can kick 100 points, they will win the game, because they've got that forward skills that they can put a big score on the board. And it takes that bit of pressure off their back line. That's
their problem. Their back line needs to hold up. Last week, I know with the weight of numbers with the ball coming down, it was very hard. But this week, they've got to deal with guys like Boyd, Troop, Cam, who are all kicking goals, all big blokes, so they've got to be able to manufacture a way to hold them down and, as I said, then score themselves. But given their best footy is good enough, they'll have to be playing their best right from the very start.
Well, 2 weeks ago, Thompson poked the bear and inflicted North Geelong's first loss for the season. On what we saw last week, if they're going to beat a side of that quality, they're starting to get back to premiership form, Dale, and that's not a good sign for Werribee, who, while they'll be angry and they'll be wanting to bounce out quickly today, they're against really, really good quality opposition. And I think you mentioned already, but those big forwards are really going to test them.
Yep, I think so.
And the small, and for your Freemans as well, the smaller guys that get in there and get through the pack as well. While we're on them quickly, congratulations, Darcy Troop, on 50 games for Thompson today.
Geez, that's happened quickly. Good on him. Yes, he's been a real powerhouse for them, a real target, a physical presence. He'll chop out in the ruck a bit, and he's someone that Werribee will have real trouble covering today, because while we saw what's he fella, Robertson from Werribee. Robinson, yeah?
Yeah, Robinson.
A couple of weeks earlier, he played a superb game at Bannockburn, but he just found it a little bit difficult to get into the play last week with the ball moving so quickly. But he really has to be at his absolute best again today to take out one of those Thompson forwards, and I can't see them doing it on the form I've seen in the last 2 weeks, and knowing how good Thompson are. As much as they'll be in there having a crack today, I don't think they can get over the City Tigers. Next game in the round. We'll skip this one. We'll get to that later. But Bellpost Hill, Bannockburn, that was the game we talked about before. It's really, really vital for both of those sides, just sitting in 4th and 5th position, I think. Bannockburn were a bit stiff a couple of weeks ago. And again, maybe some young players and a few key injuries, Dale, but they're travelling to Bellpost Hill. Wind won't be a problem today. I don't know if there should be any other terrors. Do you give them a big chance of knocking off the Panthers?
Well, they can playing their best footy. That's right. They've got to be able to kick straight, Rob. That's their issue. They've been kicking, 10, 14, 10, 15, 11, 14, whatever, during the whole course of the season. So if they can straighten themselves up in front of goal, they can win the game. But I would say Bellpost Hill, one of the sides that doesn't matter at any stage what their side has been like. They've always troubled Bannockburn, and that doesn't matter whether it's been at Bellpost Hill or at Bannockburn. So I would think if they can keep their forwards, Cossie's been kicking goals. They've got to keep him to, just the one maybe if they're lucky enough to do that. But they've got Timmy Barton, as I said. There's a couple of other boys kicking goals for Bellpost Hill at the present time. Dill Whitney, Casey's been getting in there regularly. The Jones boys, Mann has also been mentioned in their goal kicking. So they've got a number of avenues to goals, and the class through the midfield that can really trouble them. And I would think Bellpost Hill at home, I think Bellpost Hill will win this game.
Well, they look good. One thing that we thought found out, Bannockburn, Reece Ginn eventually run out of spring, and Werribee were able to maintain dominance with Daly around the packs. But this week, Bellpost Hill don't really have a dominant ruckman. Can the elusive Ginn be a bit more advantageous to Bannockburn and get them first use of the ball a bit more often?
Yeah, look, Liam Merrick's he was brilliant when we saw him a couple of weeks back in the ruck. A big bloke. I don't know. It's like I think he's got a basketball background or something like that. But you can actually tell when he picks the ball up, and just his manoeuvrability to get in and out of contests. He was one of their better players when we saw him. So I would think in that sense that will be a really good contest between the two. And their backup will be the difference. And obviously, they've got Timmy Barton back on the side. Jack Yates did a bit of the work for Bellpost Hill the last time in the ruck work, which we know he just thrives at that sort of stuff anyway. So, now look, I honestly think Bellpost Hill can win this game of football because it's up there, but Bannockburn will have to play at the very, very best if they're going to stay in the game.
Yeah, just looking at the Bellpost Hill side, Tyler, they've got some real experienced, quality players on every line now. There's a few younger up-and-comers, but they've got balance right across the ground, and that might be enough to keep them in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's one of those teams where you can sort of go through, like you said, and you can pick out those superstars of the team. You Dill Whitney, I had a quick look. Dill had 32 touches in the game last year versus Jervy's 30. Which, you look at those two real leaders of those teams, and they can pick them up, and they can make those teams move. But quickly back to the Ginn conversation. We have seen him a few times the last month between the Banno game and as well as the Interleague game, and he has really stood up. The battle against Daly was always going to be tough for him. You know, he's not as big. He's not a big built ruckman like Daly was. So I think this week could be Reece Gin's week as well, and it's Bellpost Hill for me though.
Down at the bottom end of the ladder, there's another game of interest. Corio take on Geelong West. Geelong West almost knocked off Inverleigh last week, so they'll go into the game. Well, I don't think the confidence will be dented. They got one win each for the season, but Geelong West have got a considerably better percentage, which suggests they've probably been in more games, but that doesn't necessarily give them an advantage on the day. Can Corio upset them, Dale?
Look, I don't think so. And the only reason being that the performance that they've been able to put out, talking about Geelong West recently, as I said, against East, against Inverleigh, and other sides, they've been able to stay in games probably a little bit longer than Corio have been able to do it. So I think that's going to be a bonus for them. As I said, they've got some good blokes in their side. The only bloke that I wasn't too sure early in the season for them, that was Blair. He's been kicking goals now. I'm not too sure that he's back into their side yet. He's an important cog for them. Michael Lima's now coming back into that side, so he now gets involved in their forward line, which I think that's where I'd like to see him play. He was played a lot as a backman, but for me, he's one of those mercurial forwards that can kick your goals. But they've got Sonagel, who's been recently in there, or nearly every week you look at their best players, and he's in it, mentioned quite a few times. Rowas was in there last week. Collins is the bloke we had a big rap on early in the season about how he can play through centre half back and hold them up back there. I just think with Joel and Toby Bennett, they're again the same thing, other side, regularly in their best players. They need those assistance from other blokes like Herschel Carr and all that sort of stuff. I'm going to tip Geelong West only because of their recent performances, and I think they will just get over the top of Corio at home.
Lima's still in the team, but no sign of Blair in their selected team. Tyler, how do you see the battle for the wooden spoon? Because this actually could be exactly what this game is.
Yeah, out at Corio, I think I've got to go with the home team as well. I've been really impressed by Hall lately, the younger fella at Corio. He's moving well through the centre, and he's gelling with the core centre group, I guess. Cowan's always and Matty James through the middle. They've got that speed and they move it, and Hall seems to be that next one out. He's sort of that third guy ready to go, and he's pouncing and he's hard at the ball. I think, do we know if Herschel Carr's in the team?
He is.
He is. Beautiful. I wasn't too sure how he pulled up post-Interleague.
Joel Bennett's also named again.
James has been out that side for a little while too.
Yeah, he has, and he's back today.
Okay,
good.
Well that actually...
It's a huge boost.
Yes, absolutely. That changes things a little bit now for him.
Yeah, it gives them a lot of run through the middle of the ground, which is what they need. They've got a couple of key forwards that can really kick goals if they're given enough opportunity. Let's hope that it's a very, very close game. Looking at Burns, Jelenic and Herschel Carr are all going to be in the forward line. So if they get enough of a look...
And you would think Joel Bennett will play a bit of time down there still. I'd hope that's where he's going to play if he's going to play. So,
he's selected on the half-back flank, and maybe that's the other way he keeps himself in the game more without necessarily being in the hurly-burly.
Yeah, the crash and bash.
Absolutely. I guess that back flank lets him direct as well a bit more.
Yep.
He can bark his orders and have his boys where he needs them.
It's going to be a ripper game. We'll keep an eye on that through the afternoon. We go to East Geelong now. The Oz-wide Plumbing and Civil Oval will see them hosting Winchelsea today, who have been really disappointing. I know they've had a few injuries issues, but they've had some horrible quarters in amongst some reasonable performances. It makes them impossible to predict with any confidence, and East Geelong are flying, Dale.
Yes, going along. And I was speaking to 2 or 3 people from different clubs over the last week or so, and everyone's saying that East Geelong are the best side in the competition that they've played against. So that's starting a bit. I know Benny Crombie was out with an injury early in the season, but their avenues to goal now are good because they've got Steele in there. Smith are regularly kicking goals. Steele seems to be able to get more and more as he's gone on. They're still without a couple of key forwards in that side. Lemko, is it? Lemper. Yeah, he's a good player. He's a good player. But as I said, I think East Geelong, for me, they've just got a little bit too much on the board. And the inconsistency, as you said, Rob, with Winchelsea, and injuries doesn't help that cause. I reckon that East Geelong can win this game of football. But if they're going to win, they're going to need a lot from their key players, Brown, I think he's really important. Indy Parish is getting goals. He will need to have a day out, I would think, if they're going to win.
Yeah, I think you're quite right. Cassidy Parish and Caleb Brown both selected in the middle of the ground. They're going in without a ruckman again. I don't know how strong East are in that area, but Braden O'Hanlon, who's a midfielder at best, he's going to do the chop-out work in the ruck, which means they'll be down a bit. And interestingly, Ben Maloney played last week and is lining up again with his leg. As bad as it was, it didn't look like we're going to get 2 in a row out of him, but he's lining up again this week. So that's a good sign for them. They'll have that leadership on the ground. Yeah. How do you see that one, Tyler?
Look, it's definitely East for me. Crombie was such a huge loss for the Interleague team as well with that. I think it was an ankle injury he had there. But yeah, between Crombie, McIntyre and McLean, I think they're going to be pretty solid. It's unfortunate with Winch at the moment. We just don't know what we're going to get. We're not only week to week, but quarter by quarter. East at home, I think is the safe bet on that one.
We got the match of the day here on 94.7 The Pulse, but I think most in the league will have eyes on 1 versus 2 at Winter Reserve. Dale, we saw the mighty Magpies last week. They were extraordinarily good early in the game, and they kept up a pretty good momentum right through, won every quarter. Up against Belmont, who we know are continuing to improve. We're discussing this morning, are they better than last year? Well, they probably are. Will that be enough in finals time? But first of all, they've got to beat the best, and today they're up against it. Do you like their chances?
I do, because it's played at Belmont. I think if this had been at North Geelong, I think it would have been a North Geelong easy victory. The thing with Belmont Lions, as I said to you last week, they played Bannockburn, and I thought with their injuries list that they had, or the players that were out of the Belmont side, it was the best chance for Bannockburn to beat them. But Belmont Lions still made a way to win the game of footy. Ben Evans at full forward, he's been regularly in the goals. He's a bloke that you can rely on week in, week out. And I don't know whether there's a bloke that you can actually go with him, and he just seems to be doing it all. So I think he's pretty important to them. We know Brock Marnie, the bloke you mentioned last week, come from Beasley. I'm not too sure he's back in, but he was another important cog. If Hoosmar, I don't think he was playing.
No, he's not back.
He's not back, so they're still missing a key group of their players, and I understand North Geelong are probably getting back to pretty close to where they need to be. Blake Miller, I think, has got this week out, and I think then he might be back the following week. So they're not at their best either, but having watched them last week, I don't think I've seen a better quarter of football, and then probably a 4-quarter of football, because they didn't not only play well in their first quarter, they played well and were able to maintain that lead and extend it over the next 3. Now, sometimes you get to that comfort level at 60 points up at 3-quarter time, and you think, well, we can just afford to go through the motions of football. But they never did that. They never relented. If where have you got to run on, they answered fairly quickly. So I think today, I'm going to tip North Geelong. I think they'll win this game of footy. Margin, I can't really tell you, but as I said, you look at their key players through last week, and I'll go back to Mitch a bit. Probably the best game of footy I think I've seen him play, only because Mitch did the things that I haven't seen him do for a long period of time, and we're talking about kicking goals, some excellent marks, but his follow-up work at ground level and also some chase downs from behind to apply that pressure was extraordinary. Yeah. And obviously, Roscoe Riccardi's just I wouldn't say a freak, but he's just a smooth-moving footballer.
He was a lead above. I mean, he kicks 6'5" and gives 6 away.
Yeah, and Tommy Swinnerson, you got 3 really good footballers there. That, as I said, I just think this year they've and probably Tommy Swinnerson said it to us after the game. They've now got themselves to a stage where they realised that probably what they were doing in previous years wasn't as good, and now they've got themselves on track, and they're saying that this is the way that we have to play, and if we're not going to be part of this and the way we're going to play it, then Peter Riccardi's not going to put up with it. He's going to chuck us back in the 2s and maybe not even play us. So I think got a clear understanding of where they're at, both club and also as an individual.
And Dale, before I go to Tyler, I just want to ask you about the ground at East Belmont. It's different, it's small, it congests good flowing sides. It'll make a difference to North Geelong, but it's also suggested, I haven't seen them play, but it appears that the coaching staff at Belmont are trying to get a game plan that suits St Albans, not necessarily Windsor Reserve, so they might not have the advantage
that they normally have.
They would normally have over North Geelong on that ground.
Yeah, I still think you have got a bit of a home ground because you do train and play there and all the time, so you know where you can make the holes and how to do it. But as I said, when they're looking to extend their game to play on that bigger oval later in the season, it might get them not a little bit confused, but they might do things that they would not do, say even here at Inverleigh, that they would do it at their own ground. So, look, I think they would have to be at their very, very best. But as I said, I can't go past North Geelong what I saw last week. If they can play somewhere close to that again, and I know we're talking at GDFL level, but if they can get somewhere close to that, I think they're going to be very, very hard to beat.
What do you reckon,
It
Tyler?
would be the biggest ground size difference, wouldn't it, from
I think
from
pretty
there,
much.
Yeah, to St Albans at the end of the year. And look, I think what Tom said in that interview last week was dead right. It's jump on board the Riccardi train, and they've all, and Habibi's a prime example of that. And he said it themselves last week. They got out there on Saturday, they played footy, they went home, came back Thursday, did a quick training, whereas now they're passionate, they're in it together as a team, they've built each other up, they've got each other's backs and they're supporting. Quickly, Belmont, Andy Walscott, Brent Vermeulen, co-coaches 50 games as well, so that's come up quick as well for them too. But yeah, North with Swanson and Jewel, Rory Desnoy as well through the middle. I think he's built himself up. He's got that bigger body now as well. A bit more work in the gym in the off-season, and he has really stood out through the centre as well for me.
So we see North Geelong retaining their position at the top of the ladder tonight then across the board.
I don't, I can't see it. It'd be a pretty good feat for Belmont Lions to win. I'm not saying they can't do it, but they would have to play some extraordinary footy, I think, after what I saw last week.
We've been watching a very entertaining second 18 game while we've been chatting to you here. The siren has just gone as the 20-minute mark ticks over. Anakie 4-8-32 were defeated by the home side Inverleigh 6-7-43, so 11-point win to the home team. And there's a few players in both sides there that you look and think, well, there's probably a bit of backup for senior teams. And, maybe it wasn't all that long ago that Anakie certainly wouldn't have had that. So they've got a little bit of depth as well. And Inverleigh haven't had a very big year in the seconds at all. They've lost a lot of players. And this team is full of kids again, like their senior team. So they're rebuilding a whole new era, Dale.
Yeah, you've got to start somewhere, don't you, Robin? It's an amazing thing. You've just got to take it, what you've got been given, and hopefully, as I said, the kids are your future, and if they can keep bringing them up and keep getting one or two out of each squad that comes through, then they're going to do well for the time to come. Well,
let's have a look at the big one this afternoon. Very close together on the ladder. They desperately both need a win. How do you see it going? Well,
I just want to. We've been doing this at Team of the Millennium, and I don't know whether Alex sent you out a thing.
Yep.
I've had one sent through to me from the club, and I'll just read it out to you. So you got Scott Condy, Brent Ling, Mitch Alford, and as a full back line. Your half back line: Billy Cations, Jack Filet, Lockie McCallum. I think I got the right thing. I got the right team here. Pretty sure I have. Anyway, let me just check this now before I go any further. I got messages this morning and they were updated. I think that's it. Yeah, no.
So this will be the part of today's festivities here?
Yeah, I think with the past players. But it's just something that each club's been doing, and Alex is just trying to generate some interest within the club and all that sort of stuff. So as I said, it was Scott Condy, Brent Ling, Mitchie Alford, Billy Cations, Jack Filet, Lockie McCallum. And the centre line was Dean Muir, Blake Hutchison, Michael Best. Half forward line, Casey Meehan, Dalton Grundle and Mick Groz. Forward line, Darren Rowath, Adam Donoghue, Nathan Mays. Rucks with Jimmy Hymans, Jared Love and Clayton Trotter. Interchange, we've got an extended bench here because there was quite a few that they wanted to put in but couldn't find their way. We've got Luke Wilson, Brad Circuit, David Peel, Robbie Logue, Matt Tyquin, Dan Groz, Ryan Gerard and Justin de Blasio. Coach of the side was Mark McDowell, assistant coach Shane Stone. And special mention, obviously, to Jack Kennedy Hunt, who was a player here, kicked 100 goals in the season, won a league best and fairest, but unfortunately only played about 25 games. So we sort of had to put a bit of a monitor on how you would gauge that. And that's what I said. Usually you're looking at, if a club was doing a 10-year thing, it would be normally 2 years or 50 games or something like that. So he was a special mention. But just a bit of further going on from this, we just look at Mark McDowell's record. He came here in 2013, and Inverleigh, I think, finished the prior year second. The next 5 years, he got them to a preliminary final, a preliminary final, a preliminary final, and then 2 grand finals. Unfortunately, no success in that little bit of time, but an extraordinary effort to get a side from where he had them in 2013 to that final series 5 years, or 5 consecutive years. And in that time, as I said, they were probably unlucky not to win one, or should have probably got there and won one in their time. Mark was also an Interleague, Coach of the Year 3 times in that time, and also took part in Interleague football as well. So it's pretty easy to see why he was named coach of that side, and as I said, he sort of was the start, I suppose, of the resurgence of Inverleigh being where they are today, and with the number of players they've had come through here. You know, as I said, that's not a bad looking side, and you'd be, I reckon, most days 9 times out of 10 happy enough to take some of those blokes into your final or into any side or any competition.
Oh, definitely.
And looking at that, you know, like I sit here and most of these Team of the Millenniums, I don't know, 80%, I might know 2 or 3 of the players, but in this list, there's probably 10 players there that were out here 2-3 years ago.
Yep, they're still playing. Yep.
Yeah, and it just shows how much they've built that group up that they've had over the
Scotty
past.
Conti's now been here for, I can't remember when he's been here. Mitch Alford did come back and play in their premiership, and obviously at Bell Park had some time off and came back.
Yep.
Billy Cations has only given the game away this year. Jack Filer's still going. Lockie McCallum was a hard-nosed backline player. Dean Muir's still playing in this side today. Blake Hutchison, he came when Mark came to the club and obviously spent some time here. Pound for pound footballer, you probably don't get anyone as tough or as efficient as he was ever going to be. Michael Best, as we know, usually played here as a halfback flanker, but he can provide a great amount of run. Casey Meehan's still playing out here, still going. Obviously, the body's not quite as good with Casey with the knee bandage. Yeah. Dalton Grundle, we know, he's a bloke that can actually can take a number of marks. As I said, probably not the best goal kicker, but that's something that he has been working on as improving. Mick Ross, I can't remember how many games he's played with the club, but he's also been an exceptional player since coming out here, and obviously him and his brother, Dan Groz, is named on the bench. Darren Roweth was a good small forward and kicked goals. Adam Donoghue, I think, speaks for himself as a coach here, as a player, not only as a full forward, but then later in his football term out here, spent some time across the half-back line. Nathan Mays, well, Maisie reminds me of, we talked about Joel Selwood effect. Every time it was a free kick, Maisie was going to the ground and someone would get him high around the neck. Jimmy Hybens, he was a ruckman that didn't want to be a ruckman, wanted to be a ruck rover, but was probably one of the better ruckman I reckon they've had out here for some time. Jared Love is still going around and still playing good football. Clayton Trotter, I think, won 6 or 7 best and fairest here at the club, so he's probably one reason that he gets himself into that squad. And then your bench could easily fit into any part of that side. And as I said, we're talking Luke Wilson, Brad Serger, who's now coaching down Colac Way. David Peel's still out here today. Robbie Logue's only given it away in the last 2 years. Matty Tyquin left last year and is now up in Melbourne playing footy. Dan Groz, not here today, but not in this side. Ryan Gerard, 280 or something old games with the club, and Justin de Blasio, a captain and all sort of the side. So
7 of those are out here today,
pretty much,
which is interesting, and it just shows that will be the core of the experience in the group. And as I said right at the start, and the coach alluded to it, it'll be how the young kids go concentrating for 4 quarters, because they won't be let down by that group of 7.
No.
They will be leading, as they did last week. He said they were very strong in the last quarter against West. It was the senior players who stood up. It was Meehan and Peel, in particular Grundle, that stood up late in that game. And you'll know what you're going to get from them today, but let's see how the kids handle what will be a pretty strong and physical and aggressive Anakie team. And it's that aggression is the important part of what they're going to cop today. Interestingly, the very good midfielder Brad Gerard, I do believe it is. No, have I got the right one for Anakie? Not playing today?
No.
So the focus will be on Dalhouse to carry the midfield for Anakie.
Jaden Davies in that side, so I reckon that might be an equivalent to one going out and one coming in. I reckon that'd be a pretty good replacement for him. So,
yep. And I suppose the big thing is the big goal kicker for Anakie, Bosley, who's going to look after him. Is that something that Jack Filer just takes the responsibility?
4 goals last time as well.
See, the thing is, I suppose they've got Barter and Bosley now in their forward line. Lever is another tall. So if they're going to stretch the Inverleigh side, that's where I reckon they can do it, because when you look at the blokes that they have to man up on them, I reckon Braden Warren will obviously play back and have to be one. Dan Moore, I know, was picked on a bench, but he's another bloke that's got a bit of height that could go back and take one of them. Viney has been named, I think, as a fullback, so that is a change. I know he played at West. He did a lot of his work in defence for them. And I think for today's game, and rather having running around the field and being a on-ball or forward, I think his requirements down back will be required to man up those three guys. So if they, again, can curtail Bosley's effect, as I said, usually and most times when he gets more than 2 goals, they have won games of football. Last week was probably the only time when Belpost Hill got, I think, or got to them, I think. So it's an interesting state for them. But they do need to make sure that they are playing well, because, as I said, when you're so close and then a side that's improving week in, week out, and you have a sniff of playing finals football for the first time in some time, I think they'll leave no stone unturned there today, Anakie, to try and win this game of footy.
Steelo, we might go back to you in the studio to clear some announcements and give us our big introduction here for the match of the day. You're listening to 94.7 The Pulse, your home of local football.
Someone's got 56 on, I don't know.
I'll go find out.
GDFNL match of the day here at Morton Power Oval, Inverleigh. It's the home side, the Hawks, taking on the visiting Roos from Anakie, and we're really, really looking forward to a big game this afternoon. We just noticed a couple of different jumpers out there on the ground compared to the team list we're giving, so that sends commentators into a panic. We're about to figure out that problem. Okay. I can tell you the umpires for today's game, they're all in the middle of the ground just waiting to get to position. Went and got the list. It's a job that Grubby normally does, and we just take it for granted. But the goal umpires are David House and Rod Stokes. The boundary umpires, Matthew Buckley and Noah Kennedy. And the field umpires this afternoon will be Troy Smith, Rowan Smith and Tim Tingiri. Should be a good game. We're quite excited about it. It's the last couple of games I've called since I've made a comeback to the winter injuries of the commentary panel. It's been quite
Dropping
unusual,
like
but
flies.
I've loved being back. We've seen two. Well, the first game was really interesting because it was close. The second one was interesting because it was beautiful football. Today, I'm expecting it to be hard and tough and physical. Dale, how do you see it?
Yeah, I don't think you'll get any other way here today. As I said, past players' day. So even though the young kids have come into the side and they're pretty young, they'll be wanting to put on a show for the young and the old out there that are no longer going around. And there's quite a few of them up there in the rooms before the game. So they'll be looking forward to put their best foot forward. As I said, maybe their situation is with their injuries. They're probably thinking they may be able to sneak into that top 5, but I think Anakie would probably have more on their side to say that they can make it this year with the inclusions they've got in. As I said, they haven't had Lever, Barter and also Bosley in that side together too many times, but this year they seem to be able to get them in, and they're all playing some decent football. Lever, as I said, he's been out for a bit longer, so he's now starting to find his feet again. If he can start popping up and kicking 1 or 2 each week, and then you add Bosley and Barter into that lot when they're getting, your 3s and 4s every week, there's a good score already without the other players getting involved. So, and the other bloke that was missing last week, Tom, we seen was Riddell, the ruckman. He's back in their side as well. So he's a bloke also now that can play in the middle, and he can actually go forward, and he's not a bad mobile forward as well. So they've got plenty of tall options, whereas we look through most of the other sides. If you look at Inverleigh, they've got Luke Wilson. After that, you go back to Dalton Grundle and maybe even a Braden Warren for some height. So Luke Wilson's going to have to do a lot there this afternoon. Who they put in as their second ruckman, I would think Dalton Grundle might be one of them, but if he doesn't go there, I don't think they'll use Mason Dixon, because I think they need him up forward to kick goals.
Gerard out injured. A lot of focus on Dalhouse in the midfield for Anakie, but you suggested reading through the list that Jaden Davey comes in, and he's a player you obviously respect.
Well, as I said, he's got that background, hasn't he? Like, he's been on the Essendon list. He's playing currently with Port Melbourne. Obviously, they may have a bye today. I know he's been out with a knee injury and got himself back now. Long's the other bloke that's not again in their side, so he's another one that's, I'm not too sure how far he is away. But you put Long back into that midfield with Dalhouse, Davey and Long in there. That is also probably as good as you'll get anywhere in our competition, I would think.
Tyler, you've been thrust into the expert section, and I guess you, like me, look down both of these lists, and there's a lot of names that are foreign to us. So there's not a lot of necessarily expectation on our part. That, to me, I find quite exciting, because by the quarter time we might think, well, oh, that's a name I hadn't heard of, but he can seriously play and make a difference. So sometimes not knowing is a good thing pre-match.
Well, and often you'll look down those lists and you go, this guy's a gun, he'll do this, he'll do that, but we don't have those preconceived ideas. And you look at the teams here today, Inverleigh, they're all about the same size, roughly. They're that bit bigger build, and then you look down the other end and you've got your big guys, you've got your small guys, the thinner guys that are there to run, and, it could be brute versus the speed. Anything could happen out here.
It is interesting. The huddle, Poodle Wilson's head is clearly above the group, and
that's about it.
Everyone else is the Collingwood 6-footers, I suppose. It's round about that. So I don't think anyone's going to be taking big, strong, spectacular pack marks today outside of Dalton Grundle, who's very good at it, got a very strong pair of hands. And Anakie, a little bit more height, I reckon. Interesting to see how the two match up. But the conditions would suggest the ball is going to move up and down the ground fairly quickly. It's just, will the skill level hold up with both sides to what we saw? We don't expect to deliver with North Geelong, but for Geelong and District footy, there wasn't too many times last week where North Geelong gave the ball up easily. When they had control of it, they were able to keep their skills good. I'm not expecting to see that skill today, but I think the teams that can keep possession of the ball the longest are probably going to have the advantage through the day. But both teams in their huddles are receiving the last-minute instructions from their captains, just starting to break away now and go into position. It looks like
there is zero wind out there as well.
There is zero wind. I reckon Anakie are going to be kicking to the north and Inverleigh to the south, the way they appear to be moving. We'll just wait and see as a few more players. Yeah, that looks the way it's going to be. So for those of you who are on the stream, Inverleigh kicking to the right of screen.
Railway
line.
end. Kick of the railway line.
and Anakie heading north, which is back in the direction of where they came from a little earlier in the day. But yeah, all is set up here. Very exciting day. We have got the Buckley's Entertainment first quarter about to come along. The Eric Nichols clock is in position.
Always ready to go.
Always ready to go. It's good that you've taken control of it.
Tyler, you talking about?
Tyler's taking control of it.
He manages it in the van now. In case I leave it in the vehicle.
Not allowed to leave the truck anymore.
I was worried it might have been in Grubby's lounge room, but no, all is good. And again, Grubby, best wishes to you. Hope you tuned in this afternoon. We look forward to your critique, and I imagine it'll be savage as normal, but we're happy to take that. And if you're watching live stream, wouldn't hurt if you send us a text through with a few comments through the afternoon. It'd be lovely to have some thoughts. Anyway, the umpire's in the middle. Dale Smith, our premier caller, take it away.
Yeah, so Riddell's going to do the ruck work up against Wilson. Wilson up early, gets the ball down, and it's in the middle of the ground. Looks like Barter's in there. It's going to do some work from the middle. It does outside to Mawson. Mawson down the right boot, quickly into the forward line. Nice kick, good lead. And Bosley early in the game has a mark and can go back and look at goal. Unusual. Viney sitting on the pine here, which I thought may have been a match-up for Bosley with their height difference, but at this stage, he's going to have a look, and again, only 30 seconds have gone already, and he's already had the ball in his hand for 5 or 10 of those.
That was the same champagne opening we saw last week.
Pretty much.
Tyler.
Let's hope the rest of the quarter doesn't go that way. We might be going home or go the early hours. But Bosley in. Nice looking kick off the boot. And he has brought it back. That is the early response that they wanted. And they have got it. So Anakie are away. They lead one straight goal. Inverleigh yet to score. We've gone 55 seconds. Buckley's Entertainment Centre. First quarter.
Did look like Wilson had that bit of extra height, and he's got that little bit of jump over Riddell. But it just came down, made that little bit of a pack marker, then Mawson was able to get free. He just spotted Bosley a mile away, perfect kick into his arms, and he ran straight into it.
Hey, Dale, a bit of a knock on Bosley's kicking, but how good will that be for his confidence? Because that was not an easy shot of goal.
No, he's obviously had a good look at that, and he's done that very nicely. So back in the middle once again, the ruckman, both ruckmen actually don't get touch on the ball. Comes down, picked up by Love, got the handball outside. Wilson has it. He is tackled. Ball comes out to Condi now in the hands of Dalhouse. No clean passage through there. Ball still sits underneath a lot of play, but it's now been extracted and then moved through to Dalton Grundle. Gets the boot to ball, goes into their half-forward line. Dixon out in front, takes a mark. So he now can go back and respond very quickly for the Inverleigh side. And just on forward 50 or just inside, he'll kick from pretty close to 50 metres out. As I said, there's no breeze here, so he should be able to make the distance.
Jeez, I hope this keeps up all afternoon. I love footy like this. 20 goals each. Be magnificent.
You don't want to see any defensive stuff, do you?
No.
Not at this level.
Just let him play.
We'll take his best this one, though. I reckon he'll be just outside 50.
So Mason Dixon is now stepping in. He's been out with a hamstring injury, so let's hope they've all repaired. Kicks that goal. Looks nice off the boot. And the umpire says it's going to be also all good. Things are tied away, 1 goal apiece, and we have only gone 2.5 minutes. Buckley's Entertainment Centre, first quarter scoreboard.
And not only was Dixon confident he had the distance, so was everyone else. None of the ruckmen got back into that goal line to make the hit out or to cover it. He was, from day one, he was ready to make that range.
He's a beautiful long kick. He's shown that. Accuracy has been an issue on a few occasions, but there's no doubt that he's got a very, very good leg, and 50's not going to trouble him too much. So we are back in the centre again, 1 goal each, and we're not even 3 minutes in, and that's fantastic. Wilson that time clearly gets it down to Grundle. That's a lovely hand pass, releases Love, but he did not dispose of that correctly, and free kick will go to Dalhouse, the former AFL player at the Western Bulldogs and Geelong, who brings a lot to this whole competition. It's good to have him in. The ball punched away from that contest and gone over the boundary line in front of the scoreboard, far side of the ground, showing 6 points each. 3.5 minutes into the first quarter, being the Buckley's Entertainment first quarter. Boundary line being thrown in now. Ruckman get themselves set. Wilson got most of that. It comes over the back. It's Love who's got it. Quick hand pass to Dalton. Dalton, another hand pass, looks like cross to teammate there in Ma. He kicks it forward in the centre of the ground. Inverleigh tackled immediately. Umpire says, I'll have that. We'll have another ball up. On the edge of the centre square, not advantaging either side. Wilson over the top again. That's a very neat tap down in the path of Grundle, but coming in there for Anakie is Mawson. He kicks beautifully down the line. And Jay Lever, who was mentioned as an important forward key match, has it in the forward pocket. Kicks looking for Bosley. It's a little bit high, punched away from him. Anakie tackle quickly there. It's David Peel for Inverleigh's tackled, and the ball's been forced over the line. We'll have a boundary throw in. Forward pocket's only about 15 metres around from Anakie's goal, so they've got a chance to grab and snap out of the pack if they're good enough. Ball's thrown up. Wilson punches into the clear, and the clear will run over the boundary line for a secondary throw up. This time Wilson sort of got it into a little bit of safety, around 40 metres away from the goals now. So the Inverleigh defenders will be breathing a little easily. There's nothing worse than a boundary throw in so close to goal. It doesn't take too much and a scoring opportunity is created. But from here, the defence will be a little more relaxed. Ball's thrown in. It's Lever and Wilson this time. It's tapped down. Dallahouse has got it. Can't force away. The umpire's come in and said, I'll have a piece of that. We'll have another throw in. So it's got a bit scruffy after a brilliant start. 2 goals inside the first 3 minutes. But we're back to a little more conventional country footy. Dalton Grundle kicks it forward looking for Dixon. He can't get a handle on it. He's trying very hard at ground level. Players being thrown around. The umpire said one of them was indeed thrown around. For the Anakie side, it looks like Gear kicks forward. Dallahouse picks up a crumb. He evades. Hand passes inside to Riddell. His hand passes chopped off and knocked out of bounds. Half forward flank. Anakie in attack. Scores level 6 each. We're coming up to 6 minutes into the Buckley's Entertainment first quarter.
So ball on the half forward line. Anakie their end of the ground. Ruckman, both Riddell and Wilson still going at it at this stage. Riddell just eases Wilson out of the contest, went back on hands and knees, collected it, little kick off the ground, didn't travel too far outside the contest. Again now, ball still needs to be won. It comes out, Inverleigh with now in the hands of Reid it was. He, the umpire's called deliberate there. I'm not too sure whether that was correct, but he's going to hand it back to the Anakie player. And on the far side, Gear will have the ball. He'll come inside to Dallahouse. He takes the mark. So little side kick. So no ground made there. Riddell makes the lead up, and he will now be rewarded with the kick. He just transfers play across the ground to Goodwin. Goodwin in some space. He's got players further astern, and he's going to use Detman now. So they've travelled across the ground, haven't gained much ground. It's going to be turned over now. Muir picks the ball up.
Ooh.
Right kick foot going into the middle of the ground wasn't great. Dixon comes at it, tried to trap it at ground level, picked up by Meehan. He's tackled. Little boot to ball was good. Riddell has the interception, goes out wide to Davey. One hand on it, couldn't take it. Eludes one, needs to get rid of the ball, did so. Kick goes back towards the boundary line. Dallahouse leads in the race. Ball goes over. He didn't call deliberate that time, but he was tackled as he got rid of the ball. So it's going to be thrown in front of the scoreboard here at Inverleigh. Don't have to say it. It's on the far side from where we sit, like most of the contest.
It's so frustrating.
One day if we go on park over there, I'm telling you, it'll happen. Ball now out of the contest, picked up by Grundle, runs, carries, looks up, little short kick, lead-up player, Dixon waited for it. He's got support though, Peel picks the ball up, right boot, goes into their half-forward line, eluded one, and that was Bacon, goes back now, Goodwin tries to pick the ball up, had some traffic coming at him, able to feed the ball through the contest, Dixon picks it up, heard the voice out the back, it's gone back 30 metres, not too sure whether it favoured him, but it's going to work out okay, because it's going to be hand of Reid now, picks the ball up, ducked his head, tackled, and umpires said drop the ball. 51, half a dozen the other there. So the rewarding free kick is going to go to Cannon. So Cannon on centre wing for the Anakie side. He decides to go long into their forward line. Bosley obviously the target, but standing firm. Filer takes the mark, and he will relieve some pressure out there for the Inverleigh side. So he's just short of the 10-yard square. Jack Foley's going to come clubber inside, which we like. Ooh. Outside, kick was okay. Viney in front, couldn't take the mark. Ball runs over the boundary line, so we will have a throw in front of the Anakie box here.
For us newbies, Tyler, what makes it bad, other than the fact there's a lot of new names, they all look alike.
They do, very much so. Very much so.
It's going to be a difficult afternoon, I sense. We're going to be relying on your experience, Dale.
Don't worry about that, mate. I'm still struggling myself. So ball comes in out of that contest, and again, that's going to be one out the back. A handball from Riddell goes outside. Kavanagh sees a player leading outside, goes in that direction, went through Barter's legs, going back, trying to retrieve the ball. Oh, was the tackle high? I'm not too sure. Umpire said no. It is going to come back, and that was Dan Marr, who was the Inverleigh player.
I think he stopped. He thought he was clearly grabbed around the neck and just laid there waiting for the whistle to blow. But
might have been a bit lucky, you reckon?
Yeah.
So ruck contest. Out of there comes Mawson. Eludes the tackle on the left boot. He must have stepped over the boundary line, says the umpire. So it's going to go back, and we will have a throw in. And it's about 10 metres inside the 50-metre arc. So we've gone just over 9.5 minutes. It is both as we were some 8 minutes ago, I suppose. 1 goal apiece, 6 points.
Okay, waiting for the boundary throw in forward pocket for the Anakie side. Wilson in front, doesn't really get any advantage for either side. Anakie trying to force the ball forward. Inverleigh kicked the ball dangerously straight across the face of goal into the pocket, hoping one of their players gets there first. Coming in strongly is Muir. Hand passes to Viney, but that's intercepted. Another player comes through, head down over the ball. The umpire has said that will be a ball up. That was... who was that? Warren going through very, very strongly there. Had the head down. He's grabbed around the neck, but that was never a likely free kick. Wilson again, he gets a hand on it. Comes down at the fall of the pack. Coming out there is, was it Davey for Inverleigh? Anakie, kicks it forward, but Inverleigh defence desperately pushes it over the line for the first minor score for the afternoon. Anakie 1-1-7, Inverleigh 1 straight goal, and we've just gone 10.5 minutes into the Buckley's Entertainment first quarter. Kick comes out to file it in the back pocket. He kicks further up the ground. The ball was touched, forced to play on, but Inverleigh have done a very good job. Got it across to Dalton Grundle. He kicks but misses his target badly. Kavanagh picks up for Anakie. Hand passes forward, but the umpire said that was out of bounds. We'll have a throw in, far side of the ground. 7 plays 6, 11 minutes into the Buckley's Entertainment first quarter here at Inverleigh. Ball comes in now. Riddles back into the ruck, but Wilson wins again, punches it into the opening. First player on the scene is an Inverleigh player, but he's tackled immediately. Can't see who that is. And the umpire will call for another ball up.
I think it might be Bacon out there.
Bacon, yes it is. Wilson again wins the tap out. He's been very strong in the ruck today. Hasn't necessarily turned that into a second possession, but he is on top in that area, and that'll be a help. Ball comes out the middle of the ground, trying to get through there for Inverleigh, but tackled again. It's got really, really messy in the last few minutes. The game's tightened up. Players cannot get clear possession and get it out into the open, so it looks like we're going to have a lot of ball ups through the afternoon. Riddle got most of this down in front of a teammate. Kavanagh kicks it off the ground, hacks it forward. That's a hand pass inside to Davey. Long, a raking left foot kick from him, but it's across to the right. Minor score only, 1-2-8. Inverleigh 1 straight goal, 12 minutes. Buckley's Entertainment first quarter. Inverleigh waiting to bring the ball back in. Players screaming. Warren it is, kicks it into the pocket, and that's a fine pass and finds Casey Meehan. Meehan kicks into the middle of the ground, and David Peel has to do a bit of work, but he finds the ball. Comes back into the back pocket and kicking down. It's a very, very good kick indeed, and finds the leading Clossy for Inverleigh. He kicks it back into the middle of the ground. I think that's Warren that has the ball. Miles, sorry. He kicks down the line, and that's a good leading mark there by Viney. Viney back to Clossy. He kicks into the forward line. Players jostling. Anakie under a bit of pressure back there. Quick kick coming out, but it's going to... it's been a great little bit of defensive work there for Goodwin, because he was outnumbered 3-1. Got a fist into it, which was vital. Comes out of the back of the pack. Clossy again tackled immediately, and the umpire will come in and ball it up.
Clossy went for that contest and did not take his eye off the ball then. He just ran straight under it.
So the ball now, ruck contest, over the back, comes out into the hands of Mawson. Mawson looking for some options, got the handball outside of Dalhouse, further afield, finds Detman. Detman outside, Rhodes now on the left boot, natural side, goes long, looking for Bosley. He was best positioned there when the ball came in. Umpire said the hands in the back was okay, because he held and didn't push. And he will go back and have a shot at goal for his second, and a similar position to where he kicked his first from. Actually, it's Barter, sorry. Oscar Barter. So he can go back and look at his first.
He won a few friends in the Interleague game, Dale. He was pretty impressive up at Winch in patches. Kicked a magnificent torpedo punt late in the game, went about 70 metres.
So Barter steps in now, kicks that goal. From where we sit, we'll get a good look. That's a right way to start the ball. That is a nice looking kick off the boot. That has not missed at all. Straight through the middle. Oscar Barter gets his first. The second now for Anakie. They move to 2-2. They lead Inverleigh on one straight goal. 14 minutes gone. Buckley's Entertainment Centre, first quarter scoreboard.
We spoke prior to the game about what are they going to do with the three big boys, Barter, Bosley and Lever. And at the start of the game, Barter was in the middle. Whether he was coming off a wing, I'm not 100%, but he was that bigger body in the middle. And what they've been doing is they're rotating them through. So they'll put one in the centre for a bit and then put him forward, bring the next one up. And it's giving them that bigger body, but it's also giving Riddell that bit of a chop out around the ground. Means he can get back for the next possession.
Wilson again, neat little tap looking for Vine. He couldn't find him though. Casey Meehan strong through the middle of the ground, wins the ball, gets it to Love. Long hand pass by Love, releases Lewis on the half-forward flank. He gets it further forward and wins it back, but can't quite control the ball, and it wobbles over the boundary line. For Inverleigh, it's in their forward pocket. It's almost on the 50-metre arc. They're in attack. And last time they answered within a minute. We'll see how they get this time to try and get their second goal on the board and keep this game nice and tight. Dixon this time, big tap over the back of the pack, but it's Anakie win the ball, but that's a poor hand pass there towards a teammate. Missed him. And
Alessio, I think.
Yeah, it was Alessio who missed the target there.
All three got a foot on him.
So a secondary ball up. This time it's Riddler. Wilson pulls it out of the ruck, kicks it forward, off the hands of the pack. It hits the boundary. It's the point post, and we'll have a throw in. So right beside the point post it'll be for the Inverleigh side in attack. And this is the one I was mentioned before, where defenders get very, very nervous. They've got to get their hand on the ball first. Any opportunity for Inverleigh in this spot is going to create some danger. So up goes Dixon, gets it down to Viney. Viney quickly on the boot. His kick is heading towards goal, but turns to the right and runs over the boundary line again, right beside the point post. So we'll have an identical scenario to just a moment ago. Boundary throw in now. It's Mason Dixon again in the middle. Riddle jostles really well. That's a quick kick out of the pack again for Inverleigh. Bounces forward. Great deal of pressure on the defenders, and the ball is walked over the boundary line. The umpire said that was okay. Under pressure, we'll have a throw in. It's just getting three in a row, not far from the boundary. Oh, hello, we've got a little scruff going on there between Kavanagh. It's Kavanagh and Lewis have had a bit of a wrestle. And the umpire said it was Kavanagh who was at fault. And Xavier Lewis for Inverleigh is going to have a shot at goal. 45 metres or a little bit tighter, but he's only got to kick it 25 metres to get it home.
I was hoping to see another ball up there because Jared Love was hitting those contests very fast.
He was
ready to push through and open that up.
So Lewis with a chance to kick the home side's second goal and keep them nice and close. Leaves the boot, and it is beautiful. Straight through the middle. That is a wonderful goal to the Hawks. 2 goals straight. Anakie 2-2, 17 and a half minutes. Buckley's Entertainment, first quarter. The game's very tight. It's had some patches of ugliness, a lot of scruffy stuff around the middle, but there's been other cases where the ball has flowed pretty well up and down the ground. So I think we'll see a mixture of things through the afternoon.
Barter's come back into the middle again now, so they've got that full spread. We've got Bosley full forward, Lever at about the 50-metre mark. And
did Riddell come off?
I think he has come off now for a spell.
And we had a good look at Lever up close here a minute ago. He is a big lump of man.
He's a big man, especially compared to his opponent.
Oh, yeah.
So the ball back in the middle of the ground we go. This time Barter doing the ruck work. Both players had a bit of a hand on it. Bobbles around now. Coming out. Dalton Grundle tries to get it. Goes towards, it was Viney there. Ball comes out from Bellhouse. Goes towards Lessie. Good clean pick up. There's some options out the back, which is Davey. Davey over the top. Missed his teammate. Now the ball back in the middle of the ground. Missed by Reed. Picked up there by Cannon. Actually wasn't picked up. It was left by Cannon. Now it's come out the back. And it's going to be worked forward now. Viney in some space by himself. Low flat kick wasn't good. Mark has been taken out there. And Gavin is the recipient, so it's being called a hold up.
Kavanagh and Lewis have continued on what they started in the forward pocket that resulted in a goal, and I think Lewis has copped one right on the beak. And that is very, very messy indeed. A lot of players remonstrating there.
There's been a free kick awarded. Who's it going to? Oh, it's coming back, is it?
Yeah, I think the umpires missed all. I know there's a yellow card come up. Casey Meehan has been yellow carded.
So's the runner for Anakie.
So's the runner, yes.
So what does that mean?
I don't know. It's just going to be communication from players now, I think.
So does that mean they're not allowed to use one for a period?
Well, unless they've got another one, but I don't know. A lot going on here. A lot going on. But the ball is now in the hands of Sewell.
I was watching that, and I can't say that this man did anything wrong at the start there.
Casey Meehan walking past, shaking his head in disbelief as to what happened. I saw 3 blokes that could have been yellow carded, and Casey Meehan wasn't one of them.
Yeah.
So now we're right. Umpire's got the notes in the book. The dictionary's been completed. The ball goes in short. That's a good kick. Mark has been taken. And Inverleigh with another opportunity now through Bacon to go back and put them in front.
Needs this as a settler as well, I think.
So Bacon, he's going to kick again, pretty much from 50 metres. So he works up now, kicks that goal. That looks quite okay off the boot. That is tremendously off the boot, and it is straight to the middle. They have their third Inverleigh, and they take the lead. They are 3 straight. They lead Anakie on 2 goals too. We've gone just over 20 minutes. Buckley's Entertainment Centre. First quarter scoreboard.
It's going to take a little bit of settling down from both sides here because there was it was quite spiteful, and we don't see that much in modern footy these days, but it just started with a couple who had a disagreement. It carried on, and then more have got involved, and there's now a lot of little verbal spats around the ground to go on top of the physicality. So I know one of the umpires who's in charge at the moment likes to be in control, so I don't think he'll let it get. He's speaking to Dalhouse about that at the moment, who was making some comment. So I reckon both teams will want to pull their head in because I think both these umpires, all 3 of these umpires, will be making sure this doesn't get out of hand. Anyway, we're back in the middle, Wilson and Barter. Wilson's been very strong today and he wins again, gets it down towards Condi, but intercepting is Davey. Davey to Goodwin and a little left foot pass from him over the top of his teammate's head. And it will run out of bounds and over the line. And we've got Lewis who's having another crack this time.
I think he's got his ambitions and his capabilities mixed up, this kid.
Yeah, he has. It's Rhodes, and now Kavanagh's arrived on the scene, who was involved in it earlier. And we're back to where we were before. So Xavier Lewis, I think, has been involved in quite. That's a brilliant bit of work by Barter. Wins the ball in the ruck, taps it quickly to Dalhouse, who kicks it forward, comes out in the bounce to Lever. That's a great bit of work there in defence by Inverleigh's Ma, but it's intercepted by Davey. He kicks down into the forward pocket, over the back of the pack, coming through for Inverleigh under a great deal of pressure in defence there. Quick hand pass out to Haberfield. He can't get out of the way either, and we've got an Anakie play there in the hands of the trainers right in amongst the middle of this bit of play. He seems all right. He's going to waddle off to the interchange bench.
I think that's Ebel. He just got landed on through that pack. He had 2 Inverleigh players on his back.
So he's going to come off for a quick rest, and the umpire has the ball in hand. We'll have a throw up in the forward pocket. Wilson over the top of Lever, smacks the ball over the boundary line, buys a little bit of time for the defenders to regroup. And we're keeping an eye on things around the ground, but there's still a bit of verbal stuff going on in different quarters. Settling of the score, an old-fashioned Australian footy thing that I wish would disappear, but let's see if it can. Lever does get that down to the front of the pack. David Peel runs onto the ball. He can't get away. Clearly a long, desperate hand pass to get out of trouble, but it goes over the boundary line. Umpire thought it was okay as he was pushed while he did it. And I think had he just done that normally, he might have been penalised, but he was definitely pushed in the action. Ball's thrown back into play. Lever gets a left hand down to it. It comes to Haberfield. He's tackled immediately. The umpire's found a free kick.
Yeah, in the ruck contest, I reckon.
And yes, it's going to go to Luke Wilson, who's been quite a handy ruckman today already. Long drop punt down the centre wing, lands not far from us at all. Comes out the back of the pack. It's a great bit of effort by Lewis, so he can actually play as well as scrap. He's kicked it out, but he's kicked it out of bounds, and the umpire says that's okay, throw it in. Dalton Grundle was in the vicinity, but it wasn't necessarily a great kick, but he hasn't suffered the wrath of the umpires. So Riddell and Wilson go up again. Wilson up again very high, but it's Dalhouse who wins the tap hat. He's tackled immediately, dragged to the ground, and the umpire says, give that to me. For Inverleigh, there's a penalty against Jaden Reed, and it's Josh Mawson from Anakie. He will take the kick. He finds a lead in the middle of the ground, and coming out there to take a mark is a Ridout. He hand passes it back to Mawson. Mawson kicks long into the forward line looking for Barter, but he was outnumbered 2-1. Inverleigh pick up the crung, but Jaden Davey lands a tackle very quickly. I think that was young Clossy who was dragged to the ground. So the ball up in front of the scoreboard showing 18-14, 25 minutes into the Buckley's Entertainment first quarter. Quick kick out of the pack, doesn't go far, lands in the hands of an Anakie forward who's pulled up immediately. And we'll have another ball up in the back line. Wilson again gets it over the top, but coming through strongly is Mawson trying to get another player from Anakie has a quick shot at goal, but it's out on the full. And Inverleigh will win back possession. It's a little bit dark already, gentlemen, which isn't helping. Dark and 50 metres away. Anyway, it's Inverleigh defence, have the ball. They're going to run the full complement. That's a long kick. That was Lewis out to centre wing. Wilson goes up, can't hold the mark. Crumbs out the back of the pack. Anakie first there. Riddell gets it across to Goodwin. Goodwin back inside to Rhodes. He kicks in the middle of the ground and finds Keldo. At true centre half forward, he kicks into the pocket looking for Bosley. Bosley's up high, can't hold the mark. He gets the hand pass back, quick snap at goal, but off to the left for one behind only. He got up but couldn't quite hang on to the ball under a fair bit of pressure.
Nearly had a grubby special prepared there.
It did indeed, but he was good enough to win a crumb and have a secondary shot at goal, but to no avail. It's a long kick out of defence for Inverleigh. Ooh. Players hit the ground there and immediately gone for his ankle. I think that's Grundle. That's not going to help if he's sore, but he pulled up very, very quickly after that contest and got to his feet and is very staggery, holding his hip actually. Ball's come back to centre wing. Inverleigh with possession, but it's Wilson who comes in strongly, wins possession again. Hand passes across to a teammate. He gets it out, but Dalhouse for Anakie. Gets it across to Goodwin. Goodwin's long hand pass back. I think that's Gear. And he finds Riddell on the lead. On centre wing. So the big fella waiting for some options forward. He's ignored a couple of leads. He finds one now, that being Barter, and chipping in to take the mark for Anakie in front of the leading Barter. There is, was it Roberts? Cannon. Cannon goes forward, and this time he's got
Keldo
on the lead.
He'd have to be a South Barwon connection, wouldn't he?
I would have thought so. If he's as good as the other one they got there, who's an absolute ripper, I don't think he's quite that good. This must be the younger brother. The runt of the litter. But Keldo now runs around. He has a long shot at goal. It's off to the left. Players going up off the back of the pack. Bosley fends off a player. He's still got it. The umpire, I think he's going to get him for over the boundary line, is it? Yes, he's run out of play. And we'll have a boundary thrown about 20 metres round from the Anakie goal. They're in attack, leading... they're trailing 15-18. Inverleigh with 3 straight goals has kept them in the game. Been beautiful, long set shots for goal under pressure. So Wilson again, big leap, gets the ball in the direction of teammate there in Lewis. He curls the ball around the boundary line very, very well. Caldo and David Peel. David Peel wins it and kicks it around the boundary line, getting into the path of Senskov, but it's gone out of bounds. Inverleigh in attack now, about 60 metres round from their goal in front of their coach's box. So Noah Senskov is one of the players. He's kicked multiple goals on a few occasions this year. They'll be wanting him to be a prominent player as this game unfolds. So the ball's thrown in now. Mason Dixon at the back. He wins the crumb, kicks it forward. That's a very clever bit of work there from Bacon. He plays on around his opponent and kicks a beautiful little 25, 30 metre shot on a 45-degree angle. That was very, very clever play the way he evaded his opponent. Kicks them away to 4 straight goals. Anakie 2-2. And we're coming up to the 28-minute mark of the Buckley's Entertainment first quarter.
Something to be said about a chaos ball there, isn't there? Kick it in hard and low and see what happens. Bacon was one out, but his opponent was able to get a bit of space and just turned and away he went.
Yes, no, so the ball back down with the umpire middle of the ground. We've gone 29, but a little bit of time to go, I think. A couple of little delays during the quarter. Inverleigh have answered pretty nicely since that first goal of the game. Accurate kicking, as we said, does win football games, and that's what they're doing at the moment. They're putting the score on the board. Love from the middle of the contest. He's tackled, brought to ground. Ball comes out in the contest. Mawson out the back, intercepted by Condi. Now in the hands of Viney. Viney back into the half-forward line. Spoil from behind. Ball hit ground level. Bacon came across. Couldn't pick the ball up this time. Now Dixon's there. He's got support, though. Anakie now with some numbers around the contest, and it's going to be held up. I think the Anakie player might have whacked heads then, and it's going to be handed back. Detman will be the player giving it back to the umpire. Dixon's going to do the ruck work up against Riddell. Ball comes out the back of the contest. Viney had it, went towards Mawson again. He couldn't. Mawson over the top of it, picked up again. Peel, he's tackled, brought to ground. Ball in the half-forward line. Bacon again from the boundary line. Can't bring this one back. It has gone across the face, out of bounds on the full free kick. Will go to Anakie, back pocket. And about 10 metres round from the behind post.
You mentioned Jared Love's attack on the ball. He was solid at that centre. Yeah. God, he's
he's head first.
Dangerous kick into the middle of the ground, but it's been okay because Goodwin has it now. He's looking at his option. He wants to go long. So Goodwin now, his left foot long, outside 50, goes towards centre wing. Probably a little bit too much depth there. Out of bounds to the full, so the ball is going to come back as quickly as it went in. Very quick kick under the forward line. Nice movement, and the mark has been taken inside 50. And Jared Love once again has the ball in hand, and he can go back and look at a goal. This might be right on testing range here for Jared Love, I think. So a good kick of about 45 to 50 metres. He will need to cover the distance. Player leading short is ignored. That was Lewis. So Love in now. Kicks that goal. Plenty of air. Distance not there. Lands. Ball is spoiled. Comes out the back. Kicked off the ground. And is pushed through for a minor score.
I've just had a quick look. Caldo was at St Mary's under 17s, and then he's been at Anakie since.
Okay, there you go. So 2 goals for now Anakie. They lead. Inverleigh. It's 4 goals, 1 now to Inverleigh, and 2-3 to the Anakie side. Ball back towards centre wing. Peel leads in the race for the ball. Gets his hand on it now, and hands and knees. Needs to feed the ball out over the top of it. Umpire said that is okay. And a ball up to take place. In between half forward and centre wing. Riddell's the only ruckman there. He tries to take it out of the contest. Peel arrives. Dalhouse got the ball outside. Love intercepted on the left boot. Puts the ball quickly back into their forward line. Going back towards the boundary line. Bounces just inside the field of play. Now has been carried over. And a throw-in will take place. So 32, almost 33 minutes gone. First quarter, it is Inverleigh 4-1. And they lead the Anakie side on 2 goals, 3.
So boundary throw-in right beside the point post again. We've had a lot from that position this afternoon. Riddell wins the tap out. It's picked up by Mawson. He gets it into the path of Goodwin, and he slaps the ball along the boundary line and out of play, and the umpire has pinged him. I thought that was a little harsh, but
He did hit it 3 times.
They're getting more and more technical. I suppose he was trying
1, 2, 3.
get a hand on it and kept whacking it toward the boundary. So I think his intention was well known, but the umpires are getting more and more prepared to really put the acid on players when the ball's near the boundary line. So Mason Dixon tied up against the line. He'll kick from about 30 metres. Distance is not a problem. His accuracy is terrible, and that is out on the full. So we'll have a free kick to Anakie right beside the point post.
Probably evens it up a bit.
It does. Might talk about that later, where the umpire positioned Goodwin on the mark and where Mason Dixon was allowed to kick from, because they were nowhere near in line, and I think that was a huge disadvantage.
We had that with North last week as well. Remember, he ran all the way around.
Yeah, I think the umpires have got that horribly wrong. So it's Caldo kicks across the goal face there, and he finds Detman. Detman kicks further out, and it's gone over the boundary line on the full. And Inverleigh through Viney have the ball. He's too far out to score, I believe, so he'll be probably just outside the 50. Be looking to set it up in the hot spot. He's gone now. He's gone round the player. Hand passed inside to a teammate. His kick has been smothered. Anakie now win possession back. Coming away with the ball is Mawson. As the siren sounds for the end of the first Buckley's Entertainment quarter. 34 minutes gone. Inverleigh 4 straight 24. Anakie 2-3-15. Who's been kicking the goals, Dale?
Yes, Jared Bacon has 2, Lewis 1, and Dixon also with 1. And for the Anakie side, their 2 goal kickers are Bosley and Barter. We're going to take a short break, come back, scores from around the ground. You're listening to 94.7 The Pulse, your home of local football.
We're back at Moreton Power over Inverleigh with a home side lead 4-1-25 over Anakie 2-3-15. Messy at times, but still a very interesting and entertaining game, Tyler.
Yeah, and I think we're seeing quite opposing play styles a little bit here. I think Inverleigh have got the bigger bodies. They're more focusing on getting it through the centre. They're trying to push through the centre with numbers, even in their, when they're defending zones pushing up, they're keeping their centre line there. Whereas Anakie seem to be going for that switch of play, getting it across, using their speed to open up corridors. Unfortunately, a couple of times Anakie did get that switch on, but then that last sort of penetrating kick into the 50 was where it came undone, and they got the turnover, or they were a bit slow on it, and Inverleigh were able to get a second to cut off the Bosleys or the Barters or whoever was playing through the forward at that point. Again, back to the three big forwards, I think the way they're moving them's really good. They're giving themselves space. They're not getting in front of each other, and they're also able to give Riddell that bit of a chop out at the wings, half forward flanks, those sort of areas to keep him fresh for a longer period.
Just noting that Werribee were able to get their hands on the ball in the first quarter this week, good enough to kick 5 straight goals against Thompson, and they lead them 2-4. Belpost Hill 14, Bannockburn 20, Corio 14, Geelong West kicked away at 26. East Geelong have got complete control, 5-5, 35 in Winchelsea 1-2-8. And North Geelong 1 goal in front of Belmont, 24-18. Dale, how did you see the first quarter?
Yeah, look, as I said, it opened up like we're going to get something like we saw last week, but unfortunately then it became a little bit scrambly and a little bit messy, and then when tempers started to fray, it became even more so, I think. So I think that those sides get back to playing the game they want to play, and that's open footy. I think we'll see a much better game from this point on. I was pretty impressed with Inverleigh. As I said, I thought the way the game started, Anakie seemed to have a better control over the contest, but Inverleigh were then able to work themselves back into the contest, and then some good movement forward and some good finishing work, which makes a hell of a difference in football, as you know. Same amount of scoring shots, 10 points of difference, and at this stage, I really enjoyed the game of football we've seen. Yeah,
it hasn't been too bad for two sides that are sitting in the bottom section of the 5. They, as I said, there was enough flow in it to make it interesting. Some sloppy, poor disposal, which created a lot of contest, ruck contest that Luke Wilson has won probably 90% of them, but he hasn't really got any advantage for his team out of them, which is a bit of a problem. We've seen Love prepared to attack the ball, and they've won a few of those just as the ball's been in, just fallen into loose play. But Wilson hasn't been able to really tap the ball to advantage enough for someone who's really quite dominant in that area, which is a bit disappointing for the Hawks.
Well, Barter's going to start in there for the start of the second quarter, so that's another move that's been made. And obviously Luke Wilson will do most of this work himself with a bit of a cutout. Just not too sure. I've seen Dolt Grundle come back onto the ground, and he might be still in the box, I think, at this stage, so hopefully he's up and about shortly.
It's interesting to see Condy in the middle. He's been a winger, half-back flanker for them the last few years, but now has almost been forced into the midfield because he's experienced, he's a stronger body.
I think they use him as a tagger in there. I think he's running with Dalhouse today, so
it's a very interesting contest. He's one of the senior players that's held up pretty well. Dalhouse has had a bit of the ball, but you'd hardly say he's had a huge impact on the contest. So if that's Condy's role, he's doing it well.
Yes. I think he's doing a very good job, because we've seen Mawson's been more so that one to get it out, to get those clearances so far.
Siren sounds, and we're away. Second quarter this time. Wilson gets the hand on ball, comes out the back into the hands of Love. Left boot goes into their half-forward line, looking towards Bacon. Should be a hold there. He's got hold of his jumper, but he's been able to get away with it. And I'm talking about Hall there. He was tackled very quickly, and the umpire will ask for the ball to come back. And he will take the ball on the half-forward line. Inverleigh have moved themselves into their attacking half. Wilson and Bothbrook a long way away from that contest. Wilson was able to get there. Now there's a hole being given. It's going to be a free kick. It's going to Cannon, it looks like. The umpire's indicated a hold. I didn't see it myself, but he's a bit closer than where we are. So Cannon now kicks along the boundary line. Kick wasn't great. Ball gets out the back into the hands now of Filet. Little left foot chips, a little bit wide, I think. Has gone out of bounds on the full. Free kick goes to Anakie.
I think he might have heard those size 12s of Jake Lever running up behind him.
He was coming hard.
He was going very hard.
So Cannon now with the ball. This time he kicks a little bit longer, goes in that direction. Ball, Ma did nicely, kept the ball in front. Lever gets the handball out to Dalhouse. Quick kick over the top, goes into their forward line, but Peel sitting back in the hole has read that nicely here, will relieve some pressure. Little short chip goes to Miles. He again takes the mark. Still inside their defensive end. Jarvis Miles just looking down the ground. He's got Condi in some space by himself.
Ooh.
Decides to come across the ground. Outside to Ma. Traps the ball, picks it up one-handed, and now looks to get a kick on the ball. Does so and goes back towards centre wing. Underneath the ball, good hands there by Bacon, and he has taken a mark. He's been quite good today, and he's got the ball now, wants to get it moving. Quick kick into their forward line, coming out, ball gets through the contest. Goodwin leads in the race for the ball, tapped it back towards the goal square. That could have been a little bit dangerous. They're going to get away with it. The ball has been pushed through for another minor score to Inverleigh, which moves them now to 4-2. And Anakie on 2-3. 2 minutes gone. Second quarter, Zelda's Insurance scoreboard.
So waiting to bring the ball back in the goal square for Anakie.
Mason Rhodes, I think.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
No,
a footer.
I don't know who that is, but he's kicked it down and he's found a teammate there in Mawson at centre half-back. He looks out, and finds a Ridout on the half-back flank, hand passer, but that's a poor one, puts his teammate under pressure, but they recover. Ridout himself gets it back. He's got plenty of time and space and kicks long down to the half-forward line, but too long and wide. And out of bounds on the full, and Inverleigh get possession back, and it's those sort of breakdowns in quality of possession that sort of spoils an otherwise good game this afternoon. Jack Follett has the ball from Miles. Miles sprints hard, wins it back, and kicks it long down the line to Mason Dixon. He's probably right out, just on the outside of his kicking capabilities there, so he's looking to get it into the hot spots. A lovely high drop punt into the forward line. Players coming out. Detman there, hand passes. Senskov gets it for Inverleigh, hand pass it over the top. No one there. His teammates trying to get hold of the ball. Has tapped it back. Senskov's got it again, has a quick snap. He likes it. Anakie are claiming touched. The umpire is waiting. That as well, I think. No. I think the field umpire might be going to tell the goal umpire that he thought it was touched. And we'll wait and see. Touched it is. One behind only. 4-3-27. Anakie 2-3-15. We're on the Elders Insurance second quarter scoreboard.
So the ball comes in quickly into the hands of Cannon now. Looks up. His kick wasn't great, but it's going to favour Barter. He went after it. Needs to trap it. Couldn't do so. Picked up by Wilson. Handballs back inside. Walked through now by Sharrock. Went outside. Got the handball and a long kick now back into their forward line. Reading the play nicely there. And the mark has been taken out there by Gillett. So Gillett now, he plays and goes wide. Leading player out there on the ball is Mawson. Handballs back over the top to Gear. A little bit of time and space now. Handballs back inside to Cannon. Puts themselves under a little bit of pressure. Now goes back outside again, but it'll be okay. Little chip kick works well to Dalhouse. So Dalhouse hopefully gets a longer kick on the ball this time because they've been mucking around on that little area. So Dalhouse now decides to go long and high. Ooh. Barter will be the target. Sits underneath the ball. A little bit of the hand in the back there, I would have thought, but umpire's allowed it to go on. And now he's going to see ping because he's sitting over the top of it, and free kick will go to Lever. So Lever has got the ball. He doesn't waste any time, plays on, goes long into their forward line. Bosley out in the lead. He's up in front. Mark from behind. Umpire said he has been chopped over the shoulder, and free kick will go to Bosley. And he is about 30 metres out from goal, and the angle not too difficult to work with here. So he'll close the margin. Currently sits at that 2 goals.
These are probably ones that test him, Dale, the ones that should be easy. 30 out, 45-degree angle. Historically, he has not done so well.
Looking for grass to throw up.
Not an easy thing in a drought.
Nah, especially when there's no wind either out there. Not that I can feel. A bit of a breeze, but...
Put some in your socks.
Bosley comes in now, kicks that goal off a couple of steps. And I think it's held at line okay. He likes it. Umpires come back and indicated the same. So Andrew Bosley now has his second and the third for Anakie. They move to 3-3. They trail Inverleigh 4-3. 5.5 minutes gone. Elders Insurance, second quarter.
And who wouldn't want those 3 big bodies, Barter, Lever and Bosley together? Barter and Lever were out at the 50 and were able to get that free kick. As soon as they look up, they've got Bosley streaming straight out at them. It's pretty inviting.
It could be quite telling towards the end of the day, that setup, because you look at Inverleigh, they're really quite stretched in that area containing it. We'll see see how they get on. It's Braden Warren who's got the job on Bosleby to the middle. Wilson wins another tap out to Viney. He counts. That's a great little bit of handball there by Dalhouse. It gets it to Barter. He crashes his way through 2 tackles. Ball's punched away from Bosley. Running onto it there for Anakie was Alessi. He couldn't win it. The ball's been forced over the boundary line right on the 50-metre arc. So we know how far from goal we are. The umpire's just preparing things here. Boundary umpire looking over his shoulder, ready to go. And it's a big throw in here. Barter and Wilson. Barter gets 2 hands, so it gets it into the path of a teammate. Comes to Dalhouse on the run. He gets it on the inside. Ooh, can't quite keep it on line. It just fades away to the right for 1 behind only. 3-4 plays 4-3. 5 points the difference, and we're 6 and nearly 7 minutes into the Elders Insurance first quarter.
That'll be the second, Rob.
Second quarter.
Well,
it is the second quarter. Jack Follett for Inverleigh kicks in, and Viney takes a strong mark as he outpositions the smaller body of Mawson. And he's looking to get the ball moving. Short stabbing pass. Dalhouse intercepts a mark that was headed for Senkov. He picks up a crumb. Hand passes to a teammate there who gets away. That is Sewell. He kicks a wobbly one forward. Comes out again to Condi. Condi is a clever little kick indeed. That is a marvellous kick. He saw an opportunity for a teammate to run into space, and I think that's Bacon, who's already kicked 2 and done a lot of other very, very good things around the forward line for Inverleigh. And he will have a 3rd shot at goal. Tight angle, bit less than 45 degrees, but he's only 30 metres out, if that even. He's kicked beautifully today, and that is no exception. That is a magnificent kick for goal. His 3rd for the afternoon. Inverleigh move to 5-3-33, Anakie 3-3-21, 8 minutes, 2nd Elders Insurance quarter.
Bit of a local favourite by the sounds of it, with the screams of Porky from the past players over there. But I think, Condi just looked up and he's seen him out in space and put it out and said, go get it. And he was able to run straight onto it.
Brilliant kick.
With not much the defenders could do from that one.
So umpires now have the ball back in the middle of the ground. Riddell just been asked to come back into the square. Ball is thrown up again. Ruckman there are 4-on-3 in the middle of the ground, so Inverleigh should win possession of it. They do so. Wilson kicks into their forward line. Dixon hands up, couldn't take the mark. Ball comes out the back. Detman was there. Inverleigh on hands and knees. Ball comes out to Goodwin. Tried to feed the ball out again. Bacon got the handball back inside. They're moving the ball around nicely into the hands of Dixon. A bit of pressure there. Ball goes backwards, but it's okay. Umpire said there was a throw. Not too sure that was the case, but free kick is going to go to Mawson, it looks like, on the far side of the ground. Umpire's now asking him to go back behind the mark. So Mawson now has looking and will try and go towards centre wing. A longer kick outside. Barter's a target. Violet maneuvers him under the ball. Did that nicely. And it's gone over the boundary line. A throw-in to take place. Directly opposite to where we sit here at Inverleigh. Centre wing, far side of the ground. Ball is back now with umpire and thrown back in. Wilson the front position. Riddell out at the back. Mawson read it nicely. Got nearly through the contest. Picked up by Love again. Goes back into their half-forward line. Mark again. Not taken out there. So a ball needs to be won at ground level. It's picked up there by Dixon again. He's tackled without the ball. Went back. Had a 3rd go at it. Lost possession of it. There's a number of players coming in. And there's a high tackle indication there from the umpire. And it's going to go Inverleigh's way. Free kick will finally go to Mason Dixon. He was going to give the handball then to Love, but decided now on the left boot, goes quickly into the forward line. Dalhouse back in space, takes the mark and will relieve some pressure. He's got Caldo sideways, decides against that option. Weighs up another one. There's going to be a 50-metre penalty now. Again, I'm not too sure. Did someone go inside the zone?
Didn't see that one.
So I can't tell you what it's for. So that manoeuvres him now to the middle of the ground. Luke Dalhouse goes out wide. Player in space by himself. Marcus not taken out there. Robinson made hard work of it, but went back and collected it once again. Looked up, long into the forward line. Barter. Violet did nicely, took him off the contest. Mars there in support. His kick was smothered. Now in the hands of Miles. Just loads up, goes long back into the middle of the ground. Mark not taken again, back towards Riddell and Condi. And also picking the ball up was Davey. Davey got it towards Dalhouse, got boot the ball into Riddell. He can't take the mark. Again, some nice defensive work there. So Inverleigh move the ball from the defence. They come back towards centre wing. Mark not taken out there. Handball goes from Viney into the hands of his teammate in Sewell. They work the ball outside the Peel now in some space. Just needs to deliver the ball forward. Bacon's the target. Ball gets out the back. Bacon's there. Trapped it. Ran towards goal and kicks his fourth. Jared Bacon is having a day. And Inverleigh now to 6-3. They lead Anakie on 3-4. 11 minutes gone. Elders Insurance, second quarter.
Porky is having a day all right, and he was probably a bit lucky to get that one. It wasn't the most ideal inside 50 kick, and it sort of just got over the back, but luckily he was able to turn his opponent around and get back onto it. Also, we do have Casey Mee and the Anakie trainer back on the field.
Anakie runner, yeah. Just quickly around the ground, starting to open up a bit of a gap in some games. Werribee and Thompson aren't there, locked together, only 2 points Thompson's way. This game's gone out to 18 points now. Belpost Hill 27, Anakie 20, Corio 20, Geelong West 40. East Geelong 42, Winch 16, and North Geelong got a bit of a break, 38 over Belmont's 20. Wilson grabs the ball out of the ruck, quick kick, goes straight up in the air, but that's a very clever use of his body there by Jaden Reid for Inverleigh. Wins the ball, plays on quickly into the forward pocket, looking for the aforementioned Porky Bacon, but it's just gone over his head, running towards the boundary line. The umpire has called it out of bounds, and we will have a throw in. In the forward pocket, about 15 metres around from the goal. Not quite sure what has taken the time. The boundary umpire took a long time to get there. It was actually the field umpire who called it out. So the boundary umpire now arrives, throws it back in. Dixon's got front position. He gets it over the back very cleverly. But Anakie's Dalhouse, who's been very busy today, has won a lot of the footy. He wins another one back. Quick kick on the foot for him, but it goes down only as far as Miles for Inverleigh. He's had a very, very good second quarter. Miles kicks into the pocket looking for Grundle, who's back on the ground after that little injury concern earlier. Gets it out towards a teammate. Quick kick into the forward line. Again, this is the dangerous spot for Anakie. Their defence have got a bit panicky here on a couple of occasions. And this time they've forced a ball up. So it's the Elders Insurance second quarter here. Inverleigh 6-3-39, Anakie 3-3-21. Dixon wins a tap out over the back of the pack, but a quick kick out of the pack by Grundle across the face of goal, one behind. 6-4-40 now. Anakie 3-3-21, and it's Kavanagh will bring it back in play for Anakie. We're just coming up to 14 minutes mark into the Elders Insurance quarter. Kavanagh finds Goodwin in the pocket. They're starting to mount something here. It's a short kick, and Detman wins the ball in the back pocket for the Anakie team. He goes back into the square. I think that's Gear who's got it there. They haven't really gone far. He's found Goodwin there mucking about. They haven't really moved anywhere the last 4 kicks, and that's another short kick, and Kavanagh's got it back. He started with it in the goal square 5 kicks and 4 marks ago, and now they've opened up. They've found Mawson out at centre half back now with another chest mark. So they're hitting targets without too much trouble, but the distance is the problem, and again they've been forced backwards, and Detman's got the ball between back pocket and half-back flank, and he kicks and finds Dalhouse. So Dalhouse now on the boundary line, half-back flank. Looking for option, but Inverleigh's defensively set up really, really well. Ball's been punched away from the pack there, and there's a lot of joy and happiness in the Inverleigh coach's box with the last little bit of play. They've kept Anakie under an enormous amount of pressure, and they're forced to throw in right in front of our commentary position, so there's no trouble picking up players here. So there's the throw in, and it's Wilson at the back, but this time Riddell tries to pull it out. It's Riddell tries to pull it out of the ruck, Caldo can't get away. Players jumping on top of the ball. There was probably an in the back there missed. The umpire said, give me that, I will throw it up. It's just been forced into the centre square, but still right on the line of even side. Dalhouse gets a quick kick out of the pack. The umpire said he was slung after he kicked the ball. It's been paid advantage. Anakie run into the forward line. A great bit of defensive work there by Inverleigh, but it was a clever Bosley who kept him out of the play. That was Warren, and allowed that ball to go through for a goal, and that was Declan Robinson who kicked that out of that little passage of play. So eventually they got it forward, and eventually they got a goal, their fourth for the afternoon. Elders Insurance scoreboard 4-3-27. Inverleigh 6-4, 40, 16 minutes on the scoreboard.
Don't have a whole lot to add to that, Dale. I sort of got stuck on this thing, and then I looked and it was through the goals, but Bosley held him off. But I feel the intensity is definitely lifted in that last 5 minutes of play from Inverleigh. Anakie played with fire a lot in that back line, just trying to find their way out, and were lucky to be able to get through with that free kick, I think.
Yes, Inverleigh defended very nicely there. So we're back in the middle. This time Wilson up over the top. Meehan's back in the middle. Davey had the ball, tried to force his way through. Tackle brought to ground. Umpire in quickly to re-throw it up again. So ball thrown up again. This time Barnett jumps at his teammate, or the opposition, I should say, the opponent. Tackle was laid.
Geez, that's got to be a free kick, hasn't it, Dale? He just runs straight at him.
I watched it last night. If he jumps and touches the ball, I think they pay that. But if they don't touch it, that's when it becomes a shepherd or off the ball
or something.
situation. Yeah. So again,
that was just really dangerous.
Yeah, ball not coming out. And the ball is going to be thrown up once again. So ruck contest this time. Both Ruckman and Barter, hands on ball, goes into their half-forward line. Bounces. Dalhouse leads in the race for the ball. Tries to elude. Good work there from Haberfield. Sees Dalhouse over the boundary line. And a throw-in will take place. Half-forward line. This time Anakie, you've got the ball in their attacking end. So Ruckman have pushed themselves down the ground. Barter, who's doing some ruck work, with Riddell just having a bit of a spell. Wilson still doing it all on his own. Barter from that contest forced Wilson out. Little kick off the ground was okay. Went towards Peel. Has some time now. Looks up. Kicks along the boundary line. Grundle leads in the race for the ball. He takes the mark instead of in front of Riddell, who's sitting back behind the ball. He plays on long. Goes to Bacon, and why wouldn't you? Ball out the back at ground level. Kavanagh gives support. Mel comes out the back now. And they work through Detman. Handballs over the top. Back to Kavanagh. Player outside is Ebel, and he delivers the ball along the boundary line, gets through the contest. Miles has it, went one way, will put himself under pressure. Yes, had the time to get rid of it, and free kick is going to be given to Lever. So Lever on true centre wing. Clubroom side of the ground here at Inverleigh, Redoubt a little bit early with his lead. So Lever now, he looks up, little short kick this time, coming up at the ball, Alessi. Had one or two goes at it, was able to finish the work. So still on centre wing. Player outside if he wants to use him, cannon, but decides to go down the boundary line. Up in front. Good spoil from Wilson behind. Redoubt's there. Got through the traffic. Handballs out the back. Went back to Ebel. Steps around one on the right boot. Kick was smothered off the boot there. Bounced over the line. Oh, I thought that went out then. Umpires allowed it to go on. Cannon picks the ball up. Goes into the forward line. Fire back with courage. Into the hands of Dallas. A little curl along the ground. Runs across the face. Mawson will arrive. Has time. Looks up. Gets round one. Angles out and kicks the goal. Josh Mawson, his first of the afternoon and the fifth for the Anakie side. 5-4 Anakie, 6-4 Inverleigh. And Elders Insurance, we have gone 19 minutes in the second quarter.
Yeah, a little bit of panic there in the defence for Inverleigh on the last couple of occasions, which has caused scoring opportunities. But that was, good effort by Dalhouse to kick it into that danger spot. But Mawson did a very, very good job to evade a defender and kick across his body for a goal. And all of a sudden, this has evened up the last few minutes. Inverleigh had a really, really good job defensively, but they've just missed a couple of opportunities the last time they've gone forward, and it's cost them on the rebound, sadly. Wilson wins another tap out. Love was probably pushed in the back, but the umpire said, OK. Davey, who we haven't called for a little while, has come out and kicked it forward, and that Bosley has taken a very, very strong mark in the forward pocket. He's going to be on a tight angle on the wrong side for a right footer. He's going to kick from about 30 metres out and has a chance to bring his team back within 1 point of Inverleigh. They were trailing by 3 goals at some stage, kicked the last 2, and have really tidied things up here for their club. But this is the sort of kick that will test Bosley, who's notorious for kicking probably only half the chances he's got so far this year. But here he is now, only 30 metres out, very, very tight angle. And in he comes now, he kicks, and it's
shocker.
It's a shocker. Just scraped in for 1 point. I thought the boundary umpire was going to be busy there, but 1 point only, so that's 5-5-35. Inverleigh 6-4-40, and we're 21 minutes into the Elders Insurance second quarter. Jack Follett just waiting for the ball to be returned. And Inverleigh will try and mount one. They'll really want to get another one and give them some breathing space before half-time. But at the moment, Anakie are definitely in control of possession of the game. Had the last 3 shots at goal and have got themselves right back into the contest. So Follett now under some pressure, kicks out looking for Dalton Grundle, and doesn't let him down with his strong hands and that unusual little kicking style, but it's good enough to find Warren further down the line. He plays on and kicks looking for Meehan. Meehan is pushed from behind. The umpire has let it go. And the umpire says,
It's easier, mate.
The umpire says it's gone out of bounds. We'll have another throw in just around from us. Players really up and about and willing at the moment. So it's thrown in. Wilson and Barter. Barter got a little bit of it. That is a very high tackle on Dalhouse, who I reckon has probably got something near 20 possessions, but if you chapped them all together, he might not have gone 100 metres with all of them. He hasn't kicked the ball a long way, sometimes backwards, and there's another example. Barely the margin, but he's just kicked it out sideways and found a teammate on centre wing. Kicks down the line there, looking in the pocket, punched away very, very well by the young Inverleigh defender there in Cooper Sharrick. And we've forced another boundary throw in. We've had a lot of them this afternoon. And it's Barton who now seems to have taken the mantle for the number 1 ruckman from Riddell. Whether that is a tactical or injury, not quite sure, but he's done a very, very good job. Wilson wins the tap out. Peel runs under it. Hand passes inside, looking for Dalhouse. Looking for a teammate, but Dalhouse has got another high tackle. Dalton Grundle was the recipient there. So Dalhouse again has won the ball for his team. Dalhouse now kicks it down the line. Coming out in front is Redout. He can't handle the ball. Mawson wins the ball over the back of the pack, drags it back in. Teammate runs onto the ball. It comes back to Redout. He's carried over the line. We'll have another throw in the forward pocket. A bit of conversation going on between Dalhouse and the Inverleigh box. I don't know what he did wrong. A bit of a throat hold. He should be the one sparking at them, not the other way around. Anyway, here's the boundary throw in. Wilson in front position again, but Barter's been very, very physical with him. Very strong indeed. Comes out at the back of the pack to Alessi. He kicks long into the forward line. Hit the post. Smacks into the base of the post. 1 behind only. So that's 5-6-36 now. Inverleigh 6-4-40. We're 24 minutes into the Elders Insurance second quarter here at the Morton Power Oval at Inverleigh.
So Jack Follett going to use the kicking in for Inverleigh. Player in the back pocket, Warren, but I'm not too sure he's even looked that way. He's going to go a little bit longer now. Goes out towards centre wing. Hands up, Grundle. Ball gets through there. Alessi was pushed off the ball. Love did that nicely. Ends up in the hands of Cannon. Out the back door. Anakie transfer the ball back inside. Was dangerous. It's been turned over now. Scotty Condy has got that ball and he is looking for his options further down the ground. Went one way. Kick was smothered off the boot. Comes backwards. They're going to win possession back again. So Condy handballs back inside to Muir. Muir now just kicks up long into their forward line. Detman in the best position. Ball gets through. Into the hands of Snezkov. He kicks at goal and he this time has got his first. And that gives a little bit of margin for Inverleigh. Snezkov has got 1. Inverleigh have got 7. They are 7-4, leading Anakie 5-6. And we have gone 25 minutes, Elders Insurance.
I suggested Senskov might have got a snap out of the pack earlier. Well, that might be second, unless you go.
Yeah,
that
let's
the
touch that one. Yeah.
Oh, right.
It's
good. I'm not going completely silly then.
The change with Bart is interesting because they've pushed Riddell back onto Meehan, which I guess size pound for pound is probably a more fitting fit, but I think Meehan's definitely going to have that turn of speed coming out of the forward line. So
I think Barter's physicality is starting to upset Wilson a bit too, which is interesting match. So Barter actually wins this one, but Dalton Grundle comes through for Inverleigh, wins the possession, hand passes it back to Love. He's tackled immediately. Going nowhere, so just on the edge of the centre circle, we'll have a secondary ball up. Barter has again won it down, and he's won it to Davey. Davey hand passes to himself, but coming in as Muir chips in for him. He gets a high one and will receive a free kick. Oh, what on earth happened there? What did I miss there? I just saw Muir being infringed against. Anyway, the ball's come back out. It's young Durnham for Inverleigh has the ball. And he's carried over the boundary line. I'm not quite sure. Did you see what happened in that free kick?
No, I've had my head down.
What I saw was a head down and someone run, nearly take it off.
Anyway, doesn't matter. It's gone now. Wilson is being held there by Barter. Probably should have had a free kick. Coming through is Mawson, but Viney intercepts. Davey now gets it across to Rhodes for Anakie. He gets it back inside to Mawson. Mawson's got gear wide out on the far side of the ground on the centre wing. He hand passes it back to Kavanagh. They're sort of going round and round in circles, and that is brilliantly intercepted by young Clossy. He kicks forward looking for Bacon. He runs forward. He's getting a second and third crack at it. Left foot pass, but should have been marked. Wasn't. Ball comes back out into the open to Clossy. He runs over it as he's tackled and dragged to the ground. The umpire will ball it up. I feel they had a couple of opportunities there, Inverleigh. And couldn't quite nail it. But Bacon is certainly proving a very dangerous forward.
Keep an eye on Meehan. He was Riddell going into the ruck. He's left his man and he's got it, and Meehan has taken a kick at goal.
And just missed. Across to the left-hand side for 1 point only. 7-5, 47. Anakie 5-6, 36. 28 minutes into the Elders Insurance second quarter.
So Detman this time doing the kicking in. He's going to go to the back pocket, short, and the mark taken out there by Ebel. So again, you're going to try and pick their way through, are they? Or they're going to look for some longer options. This time he does go a little bit longer. Ball comes out. Mark, not taken there by Cannon. Comes back to the front of the contest. Sliding in was Ebel once again after he followed up. He was tackled by Grundle. Umpire's going to ask for the ball back. So we'll have a ball up which will take place in the half-forward line for Inverleigh. Dixon now coming across with Riddell to do the ruck work there. The ball comes down from that contest, picked up. Grundle shrugs it, goes outside by hand to Cloessy. And he has gone a little bit right of the... I thought that was just point easy, wasn't it?
Out on the full it is.
Oh, I thought it was behind. Clearly a behind from where I sat.
Yep,
and that's what
and the field umpire has come in and said, boys, you got that wrong.
That's right, so that's another minor score there. So Inverleigh now to 7-6, and Anakie 5-6, 29 gone. Elders Insurance second quarter. Detman now bringing the ball back in from the full-back position. This time he goes out long, looking towards Barter. Ball comes back to the front of the ground. Mark not taken, so it's going to be worked through to Wilson once again. Kick was smothered off the boot. Dalhouse went back and collected it. He's got support there, but it came out of the contest. Barter picks it up. Handball's back inside. Grundle, he's tackled, brought to ground, and the umpire this time is going to come in and ask for the ball back again.
Very willing contest in there, Dale.
Can be, yes. No holds barred at the moment, though. Going at the ball, Wilson once again. Little quick hands didn't clear the contest. Picked up by Barter. He went back outside. Caldo to Dalhouse, back towards centre wing. Redout comes up at the ball. Doesn't take the mark, but he's got support, and it's going to be cleared away there by Sharrock. Handball's back inside to Muir. Able to get boot the ball. Miles couldn't take it. Goodwin left the ball behind. Redout's got the ball. He's tackled. Handball's up over the top. Again, Marr comes through the contest. He did that nicely. Loads up. His kick was smothered off the boot. Into the hands of Mawson. Runner inside. Caldo outside. Umpire's called given a free kick. And it's going to go back to Mawson. Half back line for Anakie. Not much run forward of the ball, but he goes sideways and has Caldo in some space. So Caldo now has Redout along the boundary line, a little bit longer now. Barter again is the option. Goes out long, can't take the mark. Read well there by Love. Left boot goes back into their half-forward line. Out the back, gets over the top of Viney. Siren sounds, and it is half-time here at Moreton Bay Oval. Inverleigh go in at 7-6. They lead Anakie 5-6. Goal kickers to this stage of the game. Bacon with 4, 1 each to Snezkov, Dixon and Lewis. And for the Anakie side, Bosley with 2, 1 each to Mawson, Barter and Robertson. We'll take a short break, come back, and we'll let you know what's been happening here in the first half and get some scores from around the grounds. You're listening to 94.7 The Pulse, your home of local football.
Welcome back to the Moreton Power over Inverleigh. We've just been in for some hospitality and lots of past Inverleigh players, and they're celebrating Past Players Day. Really, really good feeling in there. They're happy with their team at this stage. Anakie have come onto the ground. They're having a secondary chat with the leadership group before they've taken up their positions. I think Inverleigh have been in their positions for about the last 3 or 4 minutes. Thompson have a 17-point lead over Werribee at half-time, 50-67. The score 47-36 here, leading with Inverleigh in the lead. Bellpost Hill 52. They've shot away from Anakie 22. Corio on 4-2-26, but Geelong West have also shot away 7-6-48. Winchelsea 4-4-28. They've sort of closed the gap on East Geelong at 7-6-42. They were a long way further in front earlier, and North Geelong 6-10-46. Belmont 3-11-29. Shocking kicking, 9-21 between the two sides, but it's a 17-point lead to the top of the ladder, Magpies. Have you seen the first half, Tyler?
Very quickly too, Tyler.
Good. Football's going to be great. Balls up.
Football's the winner. Let's put it that way.
Football.
And we are underway here in the third quarter. Ruckman about to go at it. Wilson gets the ball in his hand, or had the ball, got the ball outside, goes to Dalhouse, went back outside, and it's picked up and cleared away outside there by Ebel. Goes back a little bit too far for Gear, but he's able to run back a little bit of time and space. Looks up, chips the ball sideways, has Goodwin in some space. And he will take the mark half back line. Will chip up over the top. And again, mark will be taken. Evil comes up at the ball once again. So he is now defensive side. His handball wasn't good. He's able to go back. Goodwin's provided an option for him. Now, ball comes out to Gillett. He looks the ball towards centre wing. Ball is going to bounce in the middle of players. Gets through the contest. Clever work there from Davey. Outside the Barter. Went back in his right boot. Looks up. Goes short. Kick need to be good. Was good interception there, but it's come back into the hands of Mawson. Steps around one. Now got the handball out the back. Davies got it. Goes out wide. Teammate by himself will take the mark. Dalhouse it is, and he will go back and have a look at goal. Maybe right on his limit there, I would think. Kicking from about 50 metres. So without going to the pocket, Dalhouse not too sure where he wants to go to.
That should be play on.
He's been called now. Goes long to the square. Mark in front, Barter in the end was up unopposed, and he has taken a mark in the goal square and can go back and kick the first goal of the third quarter.
Yeah, not sure what's happened there. The defender's a bit sore, whether he might have twisted an ankle or something, but yeah, there was no air contest.
It's it's gone down. I don't know it's knee, ankle, what it is, but Oscar Barter is in the goal square, and as I said, this should be just a matter of go back, kick the ball, score the goal. And I'll tell you what, he made the umpire work a little bit, but he's able to sneak it through there. His second of the afternoon, the 6 now for Anakie. They moved to 6-6. They still trail Inverleigh on 7-6. We have gone only 2 minutes. P&R Foods, third quarter.
I was lucky he put it through because I'd already marked it down in the book as well. After Inverleigh came out so far ahead of Anakie after half-time, they almost looked a bit asleep into that first play on the inside. Mawson had some silky moves out, just sort of centre-half forward, and there was 4 or 5 Inverleigh players that were just running around behind him. So I think they just need to get their structure a bit more set and ready to go for this second take.
Wilson and Barter. Wilson has a big thump forward, but again, it's Anakie who win the possession through Dalhouse first. He gets it across there to Goodwin, kicks long down the line, and coming out to take a mark there is a Ridout. He kicks into the pocket, but going back, it's touch, but Lever gets Wilson's touched into the centre of the forward area there. Inverleigh defenders coming out, tackled and dragged to the ground, can't get away, but again, they're just a little bit lax. Wilson probably should have taken that mark, just hit his hands and went over the back to allow Lever to get it. Wilson wins a tap out this time. There's a great tackle there by Love that should have probably been rewarded but wasn't, and it's forced another ball up. Only about 15 metres out from Anakie's goal. Trail now by only 6 points, 48-42. Ball's on the ground and in dispute. Tackled again, dragged to the ground, but then a quick kick out, but it's only come back as far as Goodwin at true centre half forward. I don't think he'll kick the distance, and he's found a teammate inside, and that is Cannon. So Cannon will probably be right on his limit. He'll be 50 metres out, I'd imagine. He kicks into the pocket looking for Bosley, and he marks on the second bite. He'll be on a tight angle. Again, not the ideal side for him as a right footer. But it's a pocket he led into, so he must have known what he was preparing himself for. He missed one like this a little earlier, late in the second quarter. But now we're in the P&R Foods third quarter, 4 minutes in, and Bosley has a chance to level the scores. He's taking a long time to get himself organised. The far forward pocket here. Just beneath the scoreboard as he kicks. He's not looking happy. Yes, he is. It's gone. It's held its line. So that levels up the scores. It's 7-6 apiece. 48. We're 4.5 minutes into the P&R Foods third quarter.
It's also number 3 for Bosley. The contest just outside of the square there, Anakie were ready for that grab and kick play. They had 3 or 4 players just sit back off their opponents. Cannon was one. Rhodes was the other on this wing outside, and they were just ready for that sort of grab, kick ball to come out, and they just had the numbers outside for that quick kick back inside.
Riddell lining up on a wing. I'm not too sure that he's actually playing there or where he's playing, but the ball thrown up by the umpire once again. Wilson down nicely, missed Love. Coming through was Mawson. He can't pick the ball up either. Now he picks the ball up and was taken a little bit high, said the umpire. Free kick will go to Mawson. So pretty much in the centre of the ground. He goes out wide, far side of the ground. Redoubt's out there. Took the mark. No, he didn't. The umpire's allowed things to go on. A little bit of time and space. Kicks the ball back inside 50. Dalhouse out. Mark not taken there. Ball comes to ground. Cleaned up. Love. Good quick hands. Out the back. Good work. And the ball now is transferred back towards centre wing. Numbers are with Anakie, and the mark will be taken out there by Ebel. So he goes out wide, has gear, little chip forward again. Redoubt in some space by himself. Can able to run now, play on, go long towards goal. He is way offline, and he has snuck it through for a minor score. And that will give them the lead now. Anakie 7-7. They lead Inverleigh on 7-6, and 6 minutes gone. P&R Foods third quarter. Miles it is, I think, doing the kicking in this time. He takes a run and loads up, goes out long. Mark not taken out there. Ball comes to ground, but it's cleaned up and kicked nicely inside. Snezhkov has made his way up the ground. He's got some options out the back. Bacon is one of them. Meehan's also there. Ball comes down, picked up. Goodwin. Ball comes out in the tackle. Picked up, kicked round the body by Viney. It's going to be bouncing, and I tell you what, I thought it was going to bounce through. It's been sitting in the air. The tackle was made, and a good work from young Snezhkov. He has been able to tie him up, plays on quickly round the body, and he has kicked the goal.
Almost had a leg cutter there.
Yes. And that will give Inverleigh the lead back once again. They move now to 8-6. Anakie on 7-7, and 7 minutes gone. P&R Foods third quarter.
It's a very good reply. Inverleigh needed that. They'd sort of started this quarter, as Tyler alluded, a bit sleepy. They've been out on the ground quite a long time waiting for Anakie to come. I don't know whether that had anything to do with it, but a couple of little defensive errors. But to get it up and score straight away from the next forward 50 was very important. That Snezhkov is an interesting player. He's a very opportunistic type player, Dale, and provides a bit of variety in their forward line. So he's created 3 shots at goal out of just being at the foot of the pack, but he's a big, strong-bodied player, so you'd think he'd be in a marking contest, but playing as a small forward almost, and to get 2 goals in a tight game like this is a pretty good contribution from him. So back in the middle now, Wilson and Barter, they've been at it for quite some time in the middle of the ground, and interesting contest. That is the first time Wilson's got a really clear knock to a teammate, and the ball through hand passes comes back to him. He kicks it into the 50-metre arc, but if that goes out of bounds, it's clearly a free kick to Inverleigh, which it will be, and the umpire has... No! He's calling it a throw-in. That is not consistent at all with what they've been doing, so that's disappointing.
I'm not too sure where he was trying to kick the ball. Who he was trying to kick the ball.
12 months ago, you wouldn't have worried about that, but they've really changed their attitude towards it, and that was clearly should have been lack of content. So the ball comes over the back of the pack there. Anakie breaking away there through Davey. He kicks wide out into open spaces. First there for Inverleigh is David Peel. He gets around his man and a low drop punt into the forward line looking for and finding Mason Dixon, who finished up marking uncontested. All by himself. He just worked himself into a really good spot. Peel saw him from a long way out and hit him beautifully. So by his standards, distance isn't a problem. He'll kick from about 35 to 40. He's directly in front, and he really should put it on the railway line if he really puts the slipper into it. It's a magnificent kick of the football, this young fella. Kicked a beautiful goal early in the first quarter. He's lining up now for another one that'll take his side further in front, and that is a beautiful kick as well. That's 2 in a row, and that gets things back to where we were at half-time. Inverleigh 9-6-60, Anakie 7-7-49, and we're into the P&R Foods third quarter by about 6 minutes.
Yes,
just around the grounds with GFL football, a couple of pretty close games, but some ugly ones as well. St Joseph's 77, Inverleigh 31, Newtown 94, Geelong West 38, North Shore 24, Colac 140, South Barwon 100, Lara 3, St Mary's 86 and Albans 10. Sorry, none of them are even. They're all quite massive margins.
So ball back in the middle, it runs out now. Mawson picks the ball up, goes quickly into their half-forward line. Ball bounces out the back, it comes. Some good defensive work, but it's read out, runs onto it, kicks round the body, and he's hit the post. And a minor score there. So he's had a couple of shots in this quarter, and both for minor scores. 7-8 now to Anakie, 9-6. Ball brought back in quickly, and again picked forward by Viney. Mark not taken out there. Needed to be taken by Sewell. Chipped up and passed back into the hands now of Evil. So he's got some options now further down the field. His longer option goes back towards Redoubt. In behind there is Violet. Ball comes to ground. Picked up. Miles got the handball outside. Condi back into the hands now of Jack Violet. Goes outside, and again Snezkov comes up and he's worked himself up the ground nicely again. So he's got an option further down the ground. Goes towards Grundle. Ball gets out the back. Meehan's there in support. Picks the ball up. Handballs back inside the Grundle. Looks up. Chips the ball. Goes back inside the field. 50. Bacon's there. Mark not taken. Again, defence working overtime. Rhodes picks the ball up for Anakie. Goes back towards centre wing. And Viney is going to take the mark. So the ball's going to come back pretty quickly. Once again, he goes long and into the forward line. Dixon out and takes the mark. So Mason Dixon has taken a nice mark and from about 40 metres out. 45-degree angle, can go back and look at his third goal of the afternoon. Kicked the ball nicely this afternoon, so this was another opportunity for him. So Mason Dixon, as we said, with 2, and a great opportunity here. Taking plenty of time. Most little nice approach. And he's getting towards his kicking mark now. He steps up, kicks. Time the ball will go across the face and through for a minor score. So that will move Inverleigh to 9-7. Anakie on 7 goals, 8, almost 12 gone. P&R Foods, third quarter.
Detman has the ball in the goal square for the Anakie side now. Normally they've been looking for that short kick first to get out of defence. Rhodes has made position, but Detman's going to come a little bit longer. He's going long down. He'll be looking for the tall body of Lever, but it's punched away by Wilson. Very good effort from him. A lot of pressure put on here, and gets the ball over the boundary line in front of the Inverleigh coach's box. That was a good little bit of work there by young Clossy, who's been in and out of the game, but he's done some really, really good things. He attacks the ball with a great deal of vigour, and one of the young players at the club is pinning their future on, no doubt. Wilson and Barter, but it's picked up by Gear. He quickly kicks forward for Anakie. Lever picks it up. He's been dispossessed. Alessi comes out. He gets it across to Mawson. He's tackled immediately. The umpire says, that will be mine. He had no opportunity to get rid of it, and that's probably a fair and reasonable decision. So the ball's thrown up again. Wilson and Barter again gets it down forward there. Cannon kicks it a little bit further forward for Anakie. No one can win possession. Players jumping on top of the ball. And again, we'll have a ball up. 61 plays 50. 13 minutes into the P&R Foods third quarter here at Moreton Power Oval at Inverleigh. Barter gets that down, but Love this time wins the possession for the Inverleigh side. It's heading forward, overrunning the ball there. Sewell picks it up. He's tackled immediately, dragged to the ground. The umpire's going to say, you've had it too long, son, and you didn't do anything. So that's a free kick to Anakie. It's a very taped up Bryce Hall there, I think, has the ball. And Hall, the left footer, kicks down the line at the front of the pack, but punched away from him was Riddell, who started the game in the ruck but hasn't been there much since quarter time as Barter has taken over in that position. And his battle with Wilson has been one of the highlights of the day so far. So the two of them are going to go at it again as we've got a ball up on centre wing. Barter grabs it out of the ruck, hand passes but to no one. Dispossessed is Dalhouse, coming through very strongly there for Inverleigh. Ma kicks down the line, but Lever's got back for Anakie has taken a mark, and he kicks forward and finds his teammate in Robinson. Robinson across to Detman, a low pass from him into the forward line. It's effective, finds Alessi. Alessi swings round to the right foot, kicks it long and high into the pocket, no doubt looking for Bosley. Punched away from him. Ooh. Coming onto there as a teammate to pick up the ball. He's tackled immediately. I think that's Caldo, is it?
Yep.
And the umpire says, you were held without it, son. You can have yourself a free kick. And he will. Tight angle, wrong side for a right footer. Deep in the forward pocket. He's only probably 35 metres from goal when he kicks, but it's going to be a pretty tight angle. It'll be a fantastic goal if he can get it from here. Caldo comes in, kicks. The umpire loves it. He was up to the pressure required, Caldo. He's got another one for his team. They're 8th for the afternoon, 8-8-56. Inverleigh 9-7-61, 15 minutes, P&R Foods third quarter.
Trying to analyse what exactly Anakie are doing with Riddell, because he's around a lot of the contests, and then Barter will sort of push forward, and I think Riddell's then trying to take Wilson. Sort of once the ball's moved on, he's trying to then be that man in case it comes back.
You want to have some good communication skills because he's out the other side of the wing now.
I don't know what's going on, but it seems he's just running around the ball quite a bit. He's getting his steps in, that's for sure.
So we're back.
They've done a really good job. They've been at each other for a fair while, these two. It's been a great contest.
Yeah, no, Wilson and Barter going at it again. This time Barter maybe down, goes to Mawson, handballs off to Dalhouse. Little right boot goes into the half-forward line. Redoubt's going to be the option underneath it. Spoil from behind for Violet. Ball runs back to the boundary line. Had it gone over the boundary line, we'll have a throw which will take place. Lever's got himself placed back behind the ball now as a spare, so I'm not too sure why they're doing that at this stage. But anyway,
I can only recall Mason Dixon taking one centre-bounce knockout. I reckon Wilson's been at every other one.
Yep. So the ball now thrown back in by the umpire, and again Wilson, neither ruckman get to the contest. Ball comes out the back, picked up out there, Ebel into the hands of Mawson. Left boot goes back, dangerous spot. Bosley out, doesn't take the mark, comes to ground. We'll say that's good work from the defence there in Warren. Ball now with the hands of Meehan. He tries to work his way through. Ooh, umpires let things go on. I think even Case of Meehan had given that up. Ball goes outside now, and a short kick from Davey has found Redout, and he can go back this time and maybe look at his first goal of the afternoon. He's had a couple of goes at it, but from the other side, maybe this is where he needs to be. So he's got a kick of about 30 metres only, I would think, here. Accuracy required. Left-hand post, do the work. Starts it in the right spot. It will drift across and hold its line, and he's got his first of the afternoon, and the ninth now for Anakie. They take the lead back. They're 9-8. They lead Inverleigh on 9-7, and we have gone 17.5 minutes. P&R Foods third quarter.
This has been an entertaining afternoon, Tyler.
It has, and I think Lever dropping back is now sort of is making up for what Inverleigh's been doing for most of the game, trying to get that extra person in. Earlier in the game, we were seeing after the centre bounce, one would sort of try and push back to fill that gap between Bosley and be it Lever or Barter. Whereas now I think Anakie have gone, if they're going to do it, we'll do it too. And they've just thrown Lever back there, giving him all the space, and he's pointing and he's making all the calls from the back end.
So back in the middle of the game, this time Wilson gets the ball down, went after his own ball, picked up, Love went after it and tried to get the ball out, did that nicely into the hands now of Viney, goes long into their half-forward line, Lever the spare man back, Mark not taken, Grundle comes at it, picked up by Detman, a little bit of pace, got out of the contest, handballs up over the top, got plenty of options there, ends up in the hands of Goodwin from the ball from Dalhouse, long into the half-forward line, a little bit too much on it, ball gets out the back and Ma has taken the release leaving mark. He goes across the ground. Dangerous. Bosley and also Cloesi. They get to the ball together. Ball is picked up. Ma doing support work. Does that and goes out wide. Kick went outside. He was looking for his teammate there, but he couldn't find his mate in Lewis. But it's been worked on and it's gone into the forward line. Dixon was up. Ball comes to ground. Again, at ground level, ball needs to be won in there and it's going to be held up. Umpire will come in very quickly and take possession of it. So it looks like Lever's just been indicated to do the ruck work down there. Oh no, Riddell's going to do the ruck work. So ball thrown up by the umpire. Riddell makes his ground. Picked up Mawson. Round the body. Goes back outside. Maybe a little bit too wide. Maybe this ground's a little bit narrower than Anakie because they seem to be hitting that spot a couple of times out there on that far side of the ground. A little bit lost. Casey Meehan, recipient of the free kick. So he's going to deliver the ball back to where it's dangerous. A little bit too much on it. Grundle's there. Didn't take the mark. No, he can't claim that mark. Not too sure what he was trying to do there. Umpire says it was touched on the way through. And he's going to ask for a ball up to take place. So about 35 to 40 metres out from the Inverleigh goal. Thrown up quickly. Dixon. Ball comes out. Rhodes in space. Just needed to drive the ball along. And that's what he's done. But it's going to go straight in the hands of Filet, who's sitting back in some space. Little chip kick goes into the forward line. Just went through the hands of his teammate. Dalton Grundle comes out. He can't pick the ball up. Goes back out to Riddell. Another quick boot forward. And again, Filet standing in the right spot once again. Injured player on the ground, so they're just holding things up a little bit. Player gets to his feet now. It could be Lewis again, I think.
Good to see he's okay, though. Just two blokes going hard at it.
So now Filet again. This time he's going to go a little bit longer. Options out in front. Grundle, hands, couldn't take the mark. Recovered nicely, got the handball outside. Got the ball, was smothered just as he let go of it. Went back and got it again. Handball's inside the mar. He was tackled, picked up and held up. And the umpire's going to ask for it back once again. So as we go towards 21 minutes, it is Inverleigh 9-7, trailing Anakie 9-8.
Wilson goes over the top, whacks it forward, but it's Lever who comes out. He grabs it. He's tackled immediately. He had no prior opportunity. That's a very good decision, umpire. There'll be a ball up 25 metres out directly in front of the Inverleigh goal. They trail by 1 point at the 21-minute mark of this quarter. Wilson up again. Palms down in the path of Grundle. He can't get away. Tackle quickly is Mawson. Umpire says, again, I'll have it. No one's going anywhere. Again, they've made good decisions about that during the afternoon, I reckon. Wilson again, this time he wins it himself, is tackled immediately, dragged out of his hand. Again, tackled straight away. Another player. And we'll have another ball up.
I reckon they'll pluck one here soon.
Although they might. They're 25, 30 metres out, still directly in front. We've only moved about 5 metres for 3 ball ups. Wilson again grabs it himself, quickly snaps forward. Anakie grabbed the ball, dragged immediately. The umpire said, and that might be the one, he's called that held without it. I don't know that was the case, but it's certainly going to clear the congestion. And it's a very clever little tool that umpires have at their disposal. So Hall wins it in the back pocket. Kicks along down the line. He's looking for Barter and Filet. Dalhouse rises up, wins the crumb as well as knocking the ball down. He's kicked forward and found Bosley. So Bosley now wheels around on the right foot. That's not a pretty kick, but it's into a dangerous spot. Coming out bad as Alessi. He kicks across his body, but it bounces across to the right. And one behind only. Extends the lead to 2 points at the 22-minute mark of the P&R Foods third quarter. 61 plays, 63. Inverleigh, the home side, in arrears and desperately trying to get these 4 points. Both sides desperately need them, and this contest suggests that. It's been a really spirited affair. That ball goes up the middle of the ground. Crumbed again by Gear. He kicks it forward looking for Alessi. He's tackled immediately. Bursting onto it is Barter. Barter across to Dalhouse. Dalhouse is tackled immediately. Barter picks up the crumb. He hand passes across the body. The umpire said that was a throw. And Inverleigh have won possession of the ball again in the back pocket. And it's young Durham who will take the ball for the Hawks. They were under a fair bit of pressure there, Inverleigh, and they stood up really, really well indeed. The umpires called Durham to come back after he'd hand passed to Peel to try and get away. That's a very good use of the body there by Ma. And he's won possession again. Kicks down the line. Sensov does a very good job to win possession of the ball. He's run clear. A neat little pass into the pocket. And he finds Porky Bacon, who has kicked 4 for the afternoon. He's become the hero of the past players who are on the terraces admiring his first half work. 4 goals and some really, really fine work in the forward line. He's got away from his opponent, won the ball. Bit tighter than 45, but only 30 metres out. That one, not so good. 1 behind only, but it reduces the margin to 1 point. And we're 24 minutes into the P&R Foods third quarter.
That chant's getting louder over there as well.
Yes, indeed. They're loving first year at the club, young Bacon, and he's done a very, very good job this afternoon. So ball's come over the back of the pack. Wilson's picked it up. He dances around beautifully, gets it to Peel. He's tackled immediately. Players desperately grabbing at the balls. Kicked forward for Anakie there. Punched away. That's a pretty good job there from Ma. Defensively for Inverleigh. Had 3 to beat and got it over the boundary line, which is a very, very good outcome for his team. 24 and a half minutes. P&R Foods third quarter. 1 point lead to Anakie here. Another boundary throw in, and again Wilson over the back, belts it forward for his team, but running onto it is Mawson. Mawson and Davey trying to get the ball for Anakie. Neither of them get hold of it, and it's gone out over the boundary line. Ball just waiting to come back in. Boundary umpire has it now. It's Riddell's come in to the ruck with Wilson. Barter's gone for a spell. So over the top, Wilson again, but sharked by Mawson. He gets along into the forward line and coming out to take a very strong mark. Running back into danger is Muir. Muir has followed on his own, but he's ignored him and gone into the middle of the ground for Peel. Peel's taken the mark in the centre square. He's looking for options, found a short one forward. And that is Bacon. Bacon looking further down the line. That is a great kick. Looking for Grundle. He can't quite trap the ball, but he batters up, tackles his opponent there, drags him to the ground, keeps the ball in a tight spot. That's a good outcome for the Hawks. So 30 metres away from their goal. Desperately trying to conjure up a scoring opportunity late in this third quarter. Punched away and Goodwin clears for Anakie. Gets it back. Bacon can't quite take the mark. It's a very good effort there by Warren. I think it is. He's dragged to the ground. Coming through strongly there is Meehan as well, but the umpire said that'll be a ball. No, it's Ma again. He's done some really good work this quarter. So the ball's thrown up. Wilson over the top again. Gets it back behind him this time to Condi. Condi to Peel. Peel out into the path of Bacon. He gets one hand to it. Gets away from his opponent. He's got a clear 5 metre now. Wheels round on the right foot. He's about 35 metres on the angle, but Lever's gone back into the square. Takes a relieving mark for Anakie and kicks out wide. Looking for Gear. Knocked away from him. Boundary throw in far side of the ground. Still 1 point lead to Anakie. 26, almost 27 minutes into the P&R Foods third quarter.
Belmont Lions leading North Geelong at the moment by a goal. East Geelong up by 28. Geelong West up by about 40. Bellpost Hill up by 15 over Bannockburn. And Werribee have gained the lead there. They're 4 points up on Thompson. So ball from that ruck contest. Ball comes out. Muir again. Long kick goes back into their forward line. Players back there. Gillett. He was probably interfered with, I would have thought, but it's gone through for a minor score. And that will give Inverleigh it'll tie things up again once again. So 9-9 apiece now. 27 minutes gone.
Very pleasant contrast that all the GFL sides are massive margins. All the GDFL ones are close. It's a really good tight competition, this one now.
So now with Lever, he's gone back and he's going to be doing the kicking in. He's going to come outside. Gillett's going to be the target. Caldo's also there. Grundle in front, and he should be claimed the mark. Well, I don't know why he wasn't paid that. Handball comes over the top to Peel. Back to Grundle on the right boot. He goes into their forward line. A little bit of height as it goes in there. Mark is not taken. Nearly was, though. It was going to be picked up, and I think that's Reed. That's at ground level, and he has been taken to the ground, and a umpire will come in and take possession of it. Ball up will take place. Thrown up by the umpire, Wilson and also Barter. They've done most of the work. Ball comes out the back. Mawson's there. Peel's there. It's Cloesi. And he has been... We're going to give the umpire the ball back. Another ball up will take place. Similar position. This time it's swept out the back. Ball goes to Alessi under the hands of Detman. Umpire comes down. Not too sure what happened there. Picked up by Peel. He goes long into the forward line. The umpire even lost his glasses, I reckon. In front of the contest. Bacon! Here he is again.
Oh.
He's got his 5th of the afternoon, and that will gain the lead for Inverleigh. They move to 10-9. They lead Anakie on 9-9. We have ticked over 29 minutes. P&R Foods, third quarter.
Dale, I suppose in your long and illustrious career, you had days where didn't matter what you did, things just worked out well, and you probably had some equally bad ones. But everything he's touched today's turned to gold. It's been a wonderful game from him.
Yeah, I think most of the last time we saw him, he played in the wing against Bannockburn. He was quite good out there, but today shifted forward, and he mightn't be moved from that position. I want to think too much.
No, he's a difficult player to match up, but he's quick. He's very evasive. He's got strong hands. He leads cleverly, and a beautiful kick from what we've seen so far.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
That's
he's kicked long set shots, and he's kicked snap opportunities as well, and that was a grand one. So he's given them a really, really good focal point up there. So 10-9, 69. We're coming up towards the 30-minute mark of the P&R Foods third quarter. Inverleigh.
It's gone.
Yeah, we've lost an umpire.
Well, the central umpire fell over here in the contest and whacked his head, and he's a little bit funny there, so he's just having a bit of a spell.
So back in the middle, Wilson drags it down in front of himself. Dalhouse wins possession again, but it's ripped off him. It comes out to Muir. Muir gets it across to Love. Love's away with a bounce. A scrubby-looking kick into the forward line, but it's over the back of the pack in the danger area. And touched through by Detman. 1 point only. Extends the lead to 7 points. We're gone past 30 minutes now.
And that's that speed Love's pushed through the contest with all day.
Oh, he's been very, very strong indeed. Goodwin has it for Anakie in the pocket now. He's been called to play on. He's tackled, been pulled off the ball. Gets it back. It's Clossy who's got the ball. He's dragged down by Rhodes, not going anywhere. And we'll have a ball up right beside the boundary line. Only 1 metre in for the line. From the line, just on the 50-metre arc, Inverleigh in attack. Leading by 7 points, coming up to three-quarter time. It's Dixon in the ruck. He gets it forward to Grundle. Grundle's kick immediately into the back of a teammate, actually, and ricochets over the line. We'll have a boundary throw-in. Still in the same spot, going by normal quarters. 31 minutes has been reached. Can't be too much longer. So it's the last gasp chance for Inverleigh to extend that lead, get it back to about what it was at half-time after a quarter that was predominantly controlled by Anakie, I've thought, and that's a good sign for Inverleigh. Wilson gets over to the back to Peel. Peel's quick kick into the forward line. Casey Meehan getting underneath it. He can't quite control it there in a battle with Big Lever and goes over the boundary line behind them. So now we're across the other side of the ground in a flash. Boundary throw in 20 metres round from the point post. Inverleigh still in attack. Waiting for the call. Wilson's having a little rest, a kick behind the play. Mason Dixon doing the ruck work in the forward line. So the ball's come in now. It's tapped over by Anakie coming through there as Detman. He hand passes it wider to Gear. Gear further down to Caldo. He kicks long down the line. Going back for Inverleigh was Warren. He couldn't control the ball. Has come over the pack to Davey. He's away with a bounce. He's going to run into an open goal. Kick a goal for Anakie. Quick. And that has made things very interesting as we come closer to three-quarter time. 32 minutes. Anakie go to 10-9, 69. Inverleigh 10-10, 70. Very good opportunistic goal from young Lever. Once he got it, that fella was never going to catch him.
You were never going to catch that fella. Yeah, that's right. And it came down, and the Inverleigh defender was pushing back with the ball, trying to get the hand on it. But he just was never going to get close enough, and which meant it got over the back. By the time he turned around, it was gone.
When you need to be Inverleigh timekeeper, mate. Push the button.
just before.
I actually thought that might have happened then, but he's been able to get it there and finish the job. So Davey has his first of the afternoon. So we've gone to 33, so another long quarter here.
He's done some very good work, Davey. Not a huge amount of it, but he looks a silky player when he gets a bit of space.
So Riddell is now back in the ruck up against Wilson. And again, ball this time, Wilson over the top, down to Love, and he was tackled straight away, brought to ground. Umpire back with another ball up in the centre circle. It is done, thrown up now. Again, Ruckman, ball comes out into the hands of Gear. Handball goes back outside. Ebel didn't take the ball cleanly, put himself under a bit of pressure, got the handball away. Inverleigh with some numbers around the contest now, so they might win possession of it, although Detman went after it. Tackled by Grundle, brought to ground. Umpire in as the siren sounds to end the third quarter, which will see Inverleigh go in at 10 goals 10. They lead Anakie on 10-9. Goal kickers for the home side, Snezhkov, Dixon, both have 2. Jared Bacon, I should say, has 5, and Lewis with 1. And for the Anakie side, 3 to Bosley, 2 to Barter, 1 each to Mawson, Redout, Davey, Robertson and Caldo. Take a short break. Final call to action not too far away. You're listening to 94.7 The Pulse, your home of local football.
Back at Moreton Power, we have a ripper here, 1 point the difference, and we don't have the close one. Just going around the grounds, some ripper games in this competition. 4 of the games very much alive still at three-quarter time. Werribee have fought their way back, got their nose in front, straight kicking, 14-3-87 lead, Thompson 11-12-78. It's 1 point margin here, 70 plays 69. Bannockburn have got themselves back in the game. They've kicked 7-4, Bellpost Hill 8-8 at three-quarter time. Geelong West probably have Corio at bay leading 70-40, as do East Geelong with 77 to Winchelsea's 46. But the big match between first and second at Winters Reserve, Belmont Lions are 8-17-67. North Geelong are 65 each. So it's all tied up there, and 17 goals 28 between the two sides for the afternoon. In conditions like this, is quite bizarre. But
Must have its
I
own.
reckon it's a long kick out of the middle, touching the goal square, rolls through.
it must be.
Must have its own microclimate there or something.
Well, Tyler, you've been thrust into the expert's chair. It's 1 point the difference at three-quarter time. Have you got any indication to be brave enough to say how this game might play out?
I mean, it's about as cliche as it comes, but I said at the start of the game, Inverleigh look like they've got the bigger bodies throughout the group. And, you know, the big men don't get smaller.
Anakie got the height, though. And will that height be a factor late in the game?
I think it'll depend what they do with the three forwards between Bosley and Lever and... between Bosley, Lever and... Who's the other one?
Bosley, Lever and Redoubt.
And Redoubt, that's right.
And Redoubt is another big body that can chop out. So they've got four that are significantly taller than their opponents.
And Barter, sorry. So, but depending what they do with those, obviously Barter's played majority now through the centre. Redout's been roaming wherever he wants to go, it seems. But I think if they sort of fall back to what they do in that first quarter, I think it's going to make them very dangerous pushing forward. And then in comparison, if Inverleigh keep hitting it as hard as they have through the centre, they're forcing them to push out wide. It could go either way. I think I want to go with the home team in front of the past players, though.
Yeah, that might be the thing that gets them home, particularly if our boy Bacon, who was down in front of his faithful, Porky Bacon, could be the one to bring him home. But I am concerned for Inverleigh with the height of Bosley and Barter in particular, who are very skillful players as well. The other two may be getting a bit slower, but again, if it's kicked up and they've got a chance to get underneath it, Redoubt and Riddell, who's again playing out there on the wing, a most unusual looking sight for...
That's what I'm saying. They seem to have played in Inverleigh's hands here, I reckon. They've taken all their height away from their forward line.
Yeah.
But Lever's playing back, Riddell on a wing, Barter in the ruck, and Bosley now is just really a sole tall option down forward.
Yeah, and what they were doing in the first quarter, how they were moving one through to put that bigger body in, they've gone away from, and I thought it worked really well.
Yeah, it's only that height factor that's going to worry Inverleigh coming home, but they seem to have every question that they've been asked this afternoon, they've been able to answer, and I think some of their younger players are actually gaining a bit of confidence as the day's gone on, so it'll depend on what Morey's told them at three-quarter time. Dale Smith, get us cracking in the Morris Finance last quarter.
Yes, game to be won here. Ball thrown in the air. Ball comes out, and it's going to be that Mawson runs away with it early in the last quarter, goes long into the forward line. Bosley out in some space by himself has taken the mark. And I think he wants to make sure he gets every bit of ground he can get here. He's pointed to the umpire, said he's on the 50-metre line. I'm going to go back and have a shot for goal. So an opportunity here to start things well for the Anakie side. This will take his very best. Probably a bit better than those 30-metre kicks, Rob, as you've been saying before.
Yeah.
But this time he's got to kick through the ball and a longer shot at goal.
Wilson is down there ready for it as well.
So Bosley has 3 this afternoon. He's got a short option, leading up with the ball. Alessi. Oh, was he tunnelled a bit? Yeah, a little bit, I think. Maybe. And he's going to be the recipient. So it'll be Alessi now that can actually put the first goal of the last quarter on the board. Which either way... it will be a score and would tie things away.
Unusually poor defence there, Dale. No one from Inverleigh sitting between the goal square and that passage of play, so that was completely free for someone to lead into, and that's, in modern footy, unforgivable.
So Alessi hasn't troubled the scorers with a goal at this stage. Runs in, kicks that goal, and that looks pretty nice off the boot. Umpire does not move. He has got his first, and Anakie have their 11th. They move to 11 goals, 9. They lead Inverleigh on 10-10. Morris Finance, final quarter scoreboard. We have gone a minute and a half.
Got surprisingly close to the man on the mark there too. Nearly made it a bit more difficult than it had to be. But I don't know whether it was because Wilson and Barter pushed right up to that square line. They've gone, all right, he's going to take the shot. Let's get set for the play afterwards. But yeah, like you said, it allowed that easy, simple lead from Alessi. Just he had the whole forward 50 almost just to go wherever he wanted.
So umpire has the ball back in the middle. As I said, Barter and Wilson have done most of the work in the second half. And the ball is thrown back up in the air. Again, Wilson with hands on ball, down to Love, which he's done a number of times. Dalhouse now gets involved. Ball comes back out again at ground level. Picked up by Love, tries to bullock his way out of there, but umpire's called for it back. And he will do so. Ball now on more like centre wing. Again, Wilson up, takes the ball out of the contest and kicks the ball into their forward line. But it looks like he might have hurt a shoulder there in that contest. Comes out of the contest. Davey handballs back outside. They run the ball back to Lever. Lever to Goodwin. Goodwin sits over it. Got out of trouble. Put himself in trouble again, but they've got the handball away. Wasn't great. Grundle arrives. Lessie now also. Good, some body work in there was also by Sharrock, but they're going to win it through Dalhouse. Go back towards centre wing. Marcus not taken, gets out the back. Bosley in space. No one forward of the contest. Has to wait. Little chip up over the top will go to Cannon, and he has taken the mark. So Cannon now is looking to drive the ball longer into the forward line. Barto's pushed himself down there. We saw before, mark. But he's been able to put his arms up this time, and he has taken the mark and can go back and look at his goal, and which at the moment he has one. No, he doesn't.
And I'd put that down as a Routley's mark of the day. He didn't really fly, but he just the work that it took to get back there and then to represent for that, represent for the ball with the people around him. That was a great mark.
So Barto, as we said, has got 2 for the afternoon. Looking at his third. Predominantly used as a ruckman during the second half of this game. So Barter now from about 20 metres out. Kickers offline. Didn't look like it was going to get there. And through for a minor score. So that's 11 goals, 10 now to Anakie, 10-10 to Inverleigh. And almost 4 minutes gone. Morris Finance, final quarter.
So awaiting the ball to come back in. Miles is the man that'll kick it in for Inverleigh. And this will be a test for the young fellas in Inverleigh. I've said they've been able to answer every question so far, but the fact that Anakie have controlled the first 4 minutes of this last quarter means they're going to have to grab hold of themselves and the game and get themselves back in again. So short kick down the middle of the ground finds Love, who's been a solid performer all afternoon for the Hawks. He has the ball at true centre half back, waiting on some options. He's always wanting to go forward. And long kick out towards centre wing, and that's a really, really good mark by David Peel, who's been very serviceable this afternoon. Kicks the ball beautifully. That again to Vine. He didn't quite hit him. Punched away, and Dalhouse again, who's probably up to 40 now, has marked the ball, and he's going to kick it across the ground, and he'll find Rhodes. And Rhodes kicks down the line. And coming out there to mark the ball for Anakie is Cannon. Cannon kicks down the line to Alessi to a Ridout, and he's tackled. Good option. And taken over the line. Immediately stepped into the commentary box there briefly. We are that close to the action here. Literally could have patted him on the head. So boundary throw in, waiting to come. I don't know why the boundary umpire needs to find out if the ruckman are ready. I reckon they just should chuck it in. Wilson and Barter again. Wilson gets most of the hand on that. Grundle punches it further forward. Muir clears a path for Grundle. He can't get it, but he hand passes back to Muir. Muir again to Miles. Miles into the middle of the ground looking for Wilson. Finds him. He plays on immediately, the big fella. That is an ugly kick forward to Dixon over the back of the pack. Here's our man lining up for number 6. And he's missed to the right, Porky Bacon. Won the ball beautifully with amazing skills. Got himself clear, but missed on a shot at their open goal. So margin is back to 5 points. A long kick out to boundary line looking for the slow-moving Riddell on centre wing. Hand pass comes back to Dixon. Dixon wins it. Tries to get out in the clear. Bodies on the ball everywhere. The umpire will be forced to ball it up. No, he's not. He's found a free kick. And it is going to Mason Dixon for Inverleigh. Between wing and half forward. Right beside station sponsor Bendigo Bank sign on the outer side of the ground there. And a long kick coming in now for it's Bacon. He plonks it right at the top of the square. Grundle's the front of the pack. Can't mark. Tries to butter up. It's Mawson who gets it. Hand passes it a long way to Gear. Short pass from Gear finds Rhodes. He plays on immediately. A little kick into the middle of the ground and finds Cannon. So Cannon just short of centre half back. He'll be looking for another short option up the ground. He's heading that way and he's looked for Barter. Barter hasn't won the free kick. Caldo picks up a crumb, goes further forward looking for Bosley. He marks on the chest. Bosley kicks across ground to Riddell, who's been loping up and down that wing this afternoon. He's found himself on his own. Short kick from him into the hot spot, and Alessi takes a mark 25 metres out directly in front for the Anakie side. They already lead by 5 points, 7 minutes into the Morris Finance final quarter.
The big winger had a paddock out there by himself.
He needed every bit of it too, though.
I think that's he was treated with contempt, or he was being lazy, but he found himself in a good spot. Alessi now running in, leaves the boot. He's happy. Anakie extend their lead to 11 points as we come up to the 8-minute mark. Morris Finance last quarter. How are you feeling the trend now?
Just what I've spotted in the last couple of minutes since Barter went up for a contest with Wilson earlier, came down, held the shoulder, and I think since that contest, his physicality's dropped right back. We noticed second quarter when he first went in, he went hard at Wilson and tried to put his body right into him. I think he might be a bit sore. I think it might be wearing on him a little bit now. So we'll see what happens in this one.
Be an option to put him forward now and give Riddell, because Riddell's the ruckman. So
he's a winger.
Yeah, well, I don't know where they're worried for that, but anyway, that's the way they play it. They're looking for a fourth option to come into the square. They've got one now. That's the second time there would have been a 3-on-4 situation, but Barter has made sure he's got some numbers in there. This time Wilson out the back, went towards Grundle, little kick off the ground, went to Meehan, couldn't take it cleanly, but again Love looks like he's going to emerge with it. Handball's out the back, went to his teammate Durham, can't get the ball. Dalhouse had it, lost it, ball now in dispute at ground level. Durham picks the ball up over the top, player sits on top, no prior opportunity there for the young player, and umpire will be handed the ball back, so a ball up. It has progressed slightly towards the Anakie goals. Again, Wilson out the back. He'd done that nicely all day. Touched of the boot was Grundle's kick. Went back and collected it again. This time loads up, goes a bit longer. Bacon's there, but Lever has outmanoeuvred him on this occasion and taken the mark. And he is between centre wing and half forward. So he's got a player out wide. A little bit dangerous to go to there. Again, situation now, ball out the back. Bosley did that nice. He got the handball out to Mawson. Went one way, handballed over the top. Didn't have his teammate in support though, but Viney's there. He runs away now, loads up and goes long, back towards centre wing. And beyond that now, gets out the back, coming across Gillett. Can't pick the ball up. Detman's there, tackled, brought to ground. Ball comes out in that tackle. Umpire will call for it back. So the pressure definitely hasn't dropped off by any team here in this final quarter. They're still working hard at it. And the game's still up for grabs. Ball thrown up. This time Meehan does the ruck work. Doesn't do it with his hand, but he does it with his foot. Ball is kicked forward, picked up, cleared away by Gillett. Goes back into the middle of the ground. Alessi's there. With him is Grundle, but Alessi wins possession of it. Needs to get rid of it. That was incorrect disposal. And the free kick is going to go to Viney. So Viney is now right in the middle of the ground here. Looking for some options. Handball goes back inside. Marr on the run. Goes out long and wide towards Snezkov. Had front position. Didn't finish the mark off. Probably could have been nearly awarded a free kick, but it ends in the hands of Lever. Lever gives it to Kavanagh. He goes back, quick kick. Marr again standing in the right spot. Little short chip going forward and finds Love on the half-forward line. So Love now is looking at his options further down the field. A number of players have got back, so it has closed over a little bit. Just goes long in towards the forward pocket. Snezkov from behind. Ball comes down the ground. Picked up. Kicked round the body by Peel. Has he brought it back far enough? No. Nowhere near. Out of bounds on the full. Free kick going Anakie's way. So right behind the behind post. You turn the heater on, are you, Rob? Good on you, mate. Don't know what it's like out there, Brad, but it's getting warmer in here. So just waiting for the ball. It's disappeared over the fence. Caldo hobbling, coming off the ground.
Well, I put my heater on, Dale, and I'm feeling better. You've already got yours on.
I've had mine on for
Tyler's
most of the
is
second
ready.
half.
Our poor cameraman is not feeling so good out there.
Detman short, Beleder up at the mark, and that was a good pair of hands, and the mark has been taken out. I reckon that might be Hall. Chips the ball over the top. Has Kavanagh in space to go if he wanted to, but now decides to. I'm telling you, they play with fire back there into the hands of Gillett. He did the right thing, just loaded up and went outside 50. Contest required. Gillett up over, Riddell up over the top. Ball comes to ground. Now at ground level, Marr still working hard down there, but it's not going to come out quickly. Umpire with the right decision comes in and takes it. 12 minutes into the final quarter. It is Inverleigh on 10-11. Anakie 12 goals 10.
The umpire throws it up. Wilson and Barter.
Holding.
He's been... no, Wilson's got the free kick for shepherding, I reckon. He was trying to hold him out there. It's kicked into the forward line And why wouldn't you kick it towards Porky Bacon on the hot day he's had? But he didn't win that. Anakie have won the ball back. That is a free kick to Anakie. They're going to be play on to advantage, and that is a neat little pass to Bosley. He was looking for a hand pass to Barter, but changed his mind, and will go back and have a set shot for his fourth, directly in front, 25 metres out, and a 50-metre penalty. A young fella from Inverleigh ran past into the zone, and I was going to say that's a dangerous spot for Bosley, 25 metres out, but now he's
not anymore.
1 millimetre out and should probably be able to manage to conjure up a goal from here.
Does he kick over the net?
Will he kick over the net? He should try to. And he does.
I don't know what it does here.
He's heading for the train line with that one. That is 13 goals, 10-88 now to 10-11-71. And if it's not the biggest lead of the afternoon, it's damn close to it. And hard to see Inverleigh coming back from here. We're 13 minutes into the Morris Finance last quarter. You picked them at three-quarter time. Tyler, how you feeling?
No, I picked Inverleigh at three-quarter time.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Oh, yeah. So, look, I think it reflects back to what we said at the start of the game. You get Bosley up there with 4 now, Barter with 2 as well. It's pretty potent. Lever didn't hit the scoreboard, but now he's dropped into that back line. Mawson through the centre there has been fantastic all day. He hasn't had a lot of the ball, but every time he's got it, he's been out and been able to get it clear of the pack, and that was a punishing kick straight to Bosley there. Defender was in two minds whether to get in front or to try and get behind, and it just brought him undone straight away. But back in the centre now.
Up goes the ball. Wilson and Barter again. Wilson grabs it himself but loses control of the ball. Tackled immediately. And Barter does look a bit sore. It's a good pickup. He's got worse since you made the comment, actually, Tyler.
But I can't understand why they don't put Riddell in there.
Yeah, he's slaving away. Wilson again palms it down to Muir. Muir gets it across there to Sewell, and Sewell kicks long down to the forward line. That is a really good mark. Should have been paid. Casey Meehan gets it. A quick kick by him out of the pack, but misses. One behind only. It's 10-12-72 now. Anakie 13-10-88. The scoreboard on here, I think, might have a goal in the wrong box.
Yeah, sorry. Fixed, good man. So
ball goes back into the square for Anakie, and Detman marks. Another short kick from him, which has been their want all afternoon, to kick 15-20 metres around the back line till they get the ball out. Sometimes it works, other times it's got them in trouble. This time it's worked. They're now on centre wing and punched away by Follett. Probably should have got a free kick for interference. Love gets it back to Follett. Follett, very good vision inside, but hand pass is a bit long for his teammate, and coming out very well there was Rhodes. Rhodes across to Ebel. He kicks further down the line, and Bosley's marked. Half forward flank, 50 out. Kicks long into the hot spot, but first there is Wilson. Barter has outmanoeuvred him and had a shot for goal and missed to the left. Wilson just couldn't hold on to the mark, and Barter roved the crumb. Had a quick snap at goal, but missed. Margin back out to 17 points, coming up to 16 minutes into the Morris Finance final quarter.
Warren this time kicking in from full back, short, and has found his teammate out there. So they just move the ball now. They work through the middle of the ground. Takes a bounce, looks up, goes long, kick into their half-forward line. Detman's the only one standing there, unfortunately, and it will come back just as quick. Ball going to come outside to Redoute, and he's got the has to take the mark. He has, and he's done that very nicely. Forward of this, he needs to go short if he has Rhodes outside, and that's what he's going to do now. So Rhodes just manoeuvred there, got a little bit of ground. Dalhouse now frees himself up in the middle of the ground. So Rhodes is going to go a little bit longer now. Bosley will be the target. He's in front, ball from behind, picked up out of the top by Cannon. Looks at goal, goes long, back towards the square. How will it bounce? Needs a favourable one, but it ran straight and through for another minor score. So it is now 13-12 to Anakie, 10-12 to Inverleigh, and 16 and a half, almost 17 minutes gone. Ball is brought back in quickly, comes outside, and Warren takes the mark. Oh, that will be 50. Oh, I thought I should have been. Picked him up, put him down as quickly as look at you he did, and Warren gets to his feet now, and from inside defensive 50, looks to bring the ball down towards centre wing. Lead up player is Grundle out in front. Hands this time, don't let him down. Takes the mark and he's away. Looks across, little short chip inside, has Bacon. And he is looking further down the field himself now. He wants to go long into their half-forward line. Dixon's there, best place, and he takes the mark. So on his kicking range, I reckon this is in distance for him. And he desperately needs to go back and put this one through for Inverleigh just to close that margin up. 3 goals as it stands at the moment. So Mason Dixon, Dennis Lilly be proud of this one. Going back a long way.
Show back there would be prouder.
Yeah, so he's going to have momentum behind him, you would think. So Mason Dixon comes in from just on or outside 50, loads up, goes long, goes straight. That is a beautiful kick off the boot. His third of the afternoon, the 11th now for Inverleigh. They are moved to 11 goals 12. Anakie on 13-12, 18 minutes gone. Morris Finance, final quarter.
Yeah, he was very happy with that one as soon as it left the boot. He had the fist ready and he just wanted some confirmation. But, yeah, very big kick from out there. And as you said earlier, when he had those ones in the first quarter, he's clearly got that distance and always has. And the whole team's got the confidence for him as well. So,
all things considered, this has been a great game of footy. When we consider the with the positions of the players, there's been some skill errors. It's got a bit murky at times, but geez, there's been some good football. A lot of players have had.
Contest's been good though, Robin.
Oh yeah, it's been great to watch. Really, really enjoyed it. I noticed Bacon's in the middle of the ground now, which is I don't know, an act of desperation maybe, but Wilson palms it down to Condi. Coming onto the ball is Muir. He's tackled. He gets it back to Condi. He kicks it off the ground into space on the half-forward flank. It's heading to the boundary line. Players racing back. Rhodes is first there. And if that was absolutely fair dinkum, you could call that a skill error because he failed to pick it up, but he actually threw it over the boundary line. But it was disguised well enough to look like a fumble.
it hit his foot and they were asking for on the full, which must have been close.
So boundary umpire throws back in now. Wilson, working umpire's blown the whistle. He's found a free kick and it's going against Grundle, and it will go to Mawson for Anakie. Must have been held in that contest. So Mawson down, kicks down the line. It's going to land right in front of where we are. And a good little timely push by Miles. Fairly well disguised. He's taken a mark right in front of us. Kicks back into the forward pocket, looking for and finding Dixon. No, it's Grundle. Grundle wheels around on the right foot, kicks into the pocket. Coming out to take the mark was Dixon. Fumbled. Ball over the line before he could control it. And we'll have a boundary throw in. 7 metres from the behind post. Inverleigh in attack, and they'll be desperate to grab and snap a goal here. Dixon will be forced to use to do the ruck work. And he'll be doing against Lever, who is a big, strong body as well. So the two of them going at it now. Lever wins the tap out very effectively. Gets it to Mawson. Mawson kicks down the line, punched away from it out by Filet. And we'll have a boundary throw in. We are, 21 minutes now heading up towards in the Morris Finance final quarter. 12 points the margin, but Inverleigh in attack, trying to set something up. If this game goes to trend, they'll get a goal soon and probably another one, level things up, and we'll come home very, very close as it's been all day. Tap over the back of the pack, coming through strongly there was Muir. He couldn't get it. Quick kick out by Anakie back into the middle of the ground. First onto it is Haberfield. He hand passes cleverly and releases Viney. Viney short pass into the pocket, and he finds, I think that's David Peel over there. Now he kicks the ball particularly well, this young fellow. Well, not young, so young anymore, but compared to me, he's particularly young. So David Peel nearing the end of his career. He's around on the right foot. That was a long drop punt kick. One behind only. Saw the goals and got a bit excited.
Absolutely loaded up for it.
Loaded up, all right. A beautiful kick off the boot, but just a little to the right. 79 plays 90 now. And once again, that short kick into the pocket for Anakie. Inverleigh need to be very, very strong and disciplined defensively here now. He's forced to kick longer down the line. Grundle comes over the back of the pack, punches away clear, comes to Filet to Miles. He loads up and plonks it into the hot spot. Casey Meehan coming out, punched away from him. Getting onto the ball there is Condi. Condi across to Ma. Ma has been penalised, I think, for...
I think it was Sherrick, mate.
Oh, Sherrick.
Yeah,
yes, it was. Tackled by Dalhouse and dragged down. And again is the want of Dalhouse looking for a short kick. Gets it to Love. Gets a teammate punched away by Love. He kicks it back into the square, but Lever takes the relieving mark for Anakie. He kicks long out to the half-back flank, and he's got a teammate loose out there. I think that's Ebel. He kicks down into the pocket looking for Davey. He's jostling for position, but beats him and his opponent over the boundary line, and we'll have a throw in. All of a sudden, Anakie now in attack, defending their lead of 11 points coming up to the 23-minute mark of the final quarter. The Morris Finance scoreboard tells the tale today. Punch forward by Wilson. Once again, the same two players, but this time, cleverly, Davey manages to keep it in play. Muir runs onto the ball and passes to Wilson. He clears a path for his teammate there. It's Mawson tried to get away. He was dragged off the ball. He wins it back again. Hand pass and a quick kick into the forward line looking for Bosley. It's gone over the back of the pack. Bosley has a snap across his body and kicks another goal for Anakie, and that potentially is the sealer at the 23.5-minute mark. Takes them to 14-12-96. Inverleigh 11-13-79. And Tyler, how are you looking at the
that was just a showcase of forward craft right just then. Bosley was almost outnumbered with the extras coming back. He was able to. He had the footwork. He moved around. The Inverleigh player went to ground, and he had all the time to settle himself, to take the snap and to put it through. And as you said, could possibly be the sealer now. With 23 minutes in, judging on the last quarter, we might have another 7 or 8 minutes.
Some big games around the GDFL, Dale.
Yes, Belmont Lions are a goal up. East Geelong are comfortable. Karaya are only now 15 points down. So they've closed up the margin. Bellpost Hill look like they're comfortable, 20 points at the moment. Ball comes from the middle of the ground into the half-forward line from Grundle. Finds Meehan on the lead. Meehan now looking at his options. Has Dixon. That's the direction he goes to. Dixon's up, still Gans, and he has taken the mark. So Dixon now can go back and look at his... How many has he got today? Mason Dixon's got 3, and we're looking at his 4th goal. The other result is Werribee 94, Thompson 118 at this stage. Did he play on then, did he?
He did play on and went to snap, and he put it over the other side.
I know Mason Dixon's not a natural footballer. He took the game up quite late, and I wondered in the modern craft a player would kick across his body, and he tried it, but he didn't seem to have the skill and the grounding to pull it off.
Might need to be a natural footballer for it, because that was not good to look at.
Well, you see some of these league blokes do it as well. It's ridiculous where they do it from. But anyway, that's what's easy for them now. I just can't wait till someone loses the grand final doing it. But girls that get called play on. So the ball now kicked out by Gordon Long, goes out towards centre wing. Barter's in front from behind. Ball comes down, but Barter's at ground level, picks the ball up and shows some dash. Gets away, has one bounce, has a second, has got options inside. Alessi, now he goes to him. Viney did that very, very well, and he was able to get there and put his hand on the ball. Barter didn't like what he did, and they're going at each other now.
Big time.
Barter is now going to be giving away a free kick. And umpire standing right beside it, so he's seen everything there.
Not happy about that one, the boys.
No, still going at it, both of them. Viney says, he's given me a couple, I'm going to make sure I give him a couple back.
That's one of the more officious umpires in the Geelong Football Umpires League, standing over all that. So
I don't know whether that should be 50. I don't know who had the ball, but it hasn't been handed back correctly. But anyway, it's going to be back in the hands of Viney now. Nearly time to turn the lights on. Viney now decides to go long and out wide towards centre wing. Mark is taken. Can't see. Yes, it is.
Free kick.
Chopped, I think, yeah.
And I can't see who the player is. It Violet, is it?
Car's turned its
Yeah, someone heard you.
Yep, so the ball now kicked forward. That's a good kick. And again, coming up, taking the mark is Amin. Quickly, they move the ball forward. Again, the kick was okay. Got to Bacon. Handballs out the back. Probably didn't have a target there. Cannon's there. Able to keep the ball in front of himself. Went back, collected it. Don't know whether the disposal was correct, but Inverleigh have won the ball back. Barter has given away another free kick now. He needs to chill himself down just to finish this game off. Ball into the half-forward line and Grundle. Little chip kick, and lead-up player is Peel. Takes the mark, so he can go back and have a look at his goal. Davey Peel hasn't troubled the major scores at this stage, but this more to his range here. This is one that they will need to see go through as we tick towards 27 and over. Kicks that goal. It will go across the face and it will be pushed through for a minor score. So 3 behinds to David Peel. 11-14 now to Inverleigh. 14-12 Anakie. 27 gone.
As the Anakie coach now, do you move Barter back to let him relax, or do you let him go at it full steam ahead?
I reckon, as I said, I'm surprised they haven't used Riddell more in the ruck, but that's they must have reasons for it, but that doesn't matter. They're still winning the game of football. Ball now goes back towards centre wing, and that's a great pair of hands out there. Mark was taken out there by Sharrock, so Sharrock moves the ball quickly into Snezkov, and he has taken the mark. Now he is inside 50, and now realises he's got to get things going. Here's a good kick of the football. So an opportunity here for him to put his third goal on the board. Loads up, kicks long, kicks straight, and has drifted at the last minute and will be through for a minor score. 2 goals, 2 now to Snezkov. 11-15 to Inverleigh, 14-12 Anakie, and we have gone 28 minutes. Morris Finance final quarter.
Lever looking for options. They've been want to kick short in this case, but big fella has gone long down the line. Bosley and his teammate there trying to hold the ball, but winning the ball is Wilson. Wilson to Grundle. Grundle kicks in, and I thought he might have got a free kick for that. Was Dixon, but no chance there. Hall kicks quickly and finds Gear with a very rough slap forward. Gear's gone further down the ground. Davies been paid the mark. Grabbed it close to the half volley, but he's played on now and kicked down the line. Bosley's gone across to the other side of the ground quite quickly. Tackled immediately by Warren, going nowhere. As we come to the 29-minute mark, I think the home and hose, the Roos, leading by 15 points still. 3 goals at Inverleigh got to conjure in what will only be a couple of minutes of footy, I think. So forward pocket for Anakie now. It's Barter again. He wins that tap. Wilson's really struggling to find some energy now. He's run on the ball pretty much all day. Comes across to Mawson. Mawson eludes some players. Kicks to the top of the square, and coming out to take the mark is Bosley.
Don't know that he's paid him out.
He's called
it was a lot of
nil-all draw there.
Yeah, jump ball.
A lot of hands went up, and Bosley come over and grabbed the ball to his chest out of that clutch of hands. The umpires decided 0-0 draw, and we'll ball it up. Right on the front of the square, players going up. Umpires
free kick.
Found a free kick, and it's going to Anakie for being held. That'll go to.
Was it held, or was it because it was known as Ruckman nominated?
I think so. I believe, they didn't have a Ruckman for it.
Seriously?
Let me go back and watch the replay.
Please don't tell me the game's got to that.
I'll come back to you in 30 seconds.
I reckon that's what it was. I don't reckon that Ruckman had been nominated, and Jack might have touched the balls that was coming down.
Quicker that rule is taken out of the game because it is now embarrassing, the better. Absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, Bosley is kicking from 20 metres in front, 20 metres out directly in front. I think he's kicking for his 5th. He's happy. And it's actually his 6th, and that's made a significant difference to the result of the game. He's been a very focal point, and as we said at the end of the game, the last quarter, the tall fellas don't get shorter. And Lever in defence, and Bosley and Barter have been really prominent players for Anakie in this last quarter. They're definitely home now. 15-12, 102 in Anakie. Inverleigh 11-15, 81 with 31 minutes into the Morris Finance last quarter. Ball back in the middle now. Wilson and Barter eyeing each other again, as they've done pretty much constantly since quarter time. And it is really, really dark here now. There's a couple of cars with headlights on that are helping us out a little bit. Wilson wins the tap again. It's kicked off the ground quickly by Ebel. Ebel gets it forward. Hand pass comes out to Alessi, and there's the siren sounds. Anakie have got themselves a little further up the ladder, or a little safer in that top 5 position for at least a few weeks. That's a very, very solid, hard-fought win against a gallant, youthful Inverleigh team that just weren't able to match it in a tough, tense last quarter. Dale, can we have some goal kickers, please, before we head back to the studio for a little bit of a break and collect our thoughts?
Yes, goal kickers for the game. For the home side, Bacon finished with 5, Dixon with 3, and Snezhkov 2, Lewis with 1, and for Anakie 6 to Bosley, 2 each to Barter and Alessi, 1 each to Mawson, Redoubt, Davey, Robinson and Caldo. Take a short break, come back, final scores from around the grounds. You're listening to 94.7 The Pulse, your home of local football.
We are back here at Moreton Bay Oval for the wash-up. It's a 21-point victory to Anakie, 15-12, 102. Inverleigh, 11-15, 81. We're going to have a difficult task doing best players for this game, I feel. Dale, you've got around the grounds, have you, or shall I whip that up for you?
Yes, no, I had it. Now I did something else.
I've got it here now.
That's right, you read them out, mate.
So Werribee were very gallant. They kicked very straight, 15 poor, but in the end they were swamped by a huge last quarter from Thompson, who kicked 17-16, 118. So that is a 24-point victory to Thompson. Gave you the scores at this one. Bellpost Hill have hung on 11-9-75 to defeat Bannockburn 8-6-54. Corio had a big push towards Geelong West after trailing by a long way early in the game. 8-8-56, Geelong West 10-11-71. East Geelong go on their merry way 16-13, 109. Winchelsea a disappointing 7-5, 47. And in the big match of the day at Winters Reserve, the home side have held on 11-20, 86 to North Geelong's 10-13, 73. That's 31 scoring shots to 23. That is a big game for the two good sides. That would have been well worth watching. But I do not have any concern about us coming here today, Dale. This was a ripper game of footy, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, look, as I said, just sometimes you sit back and you look at it. As I said, North Geelong, Belmont Lions were the obvious, but past players' day out here, and as I said, we've been entertained tremendously, I think, out here this afternoon. Close contest, got tough at times, got a little bit rough at times, but as I said, both sides weren't willing to take a backward step, and the importance of this game is pretty evident out there for both sides.
Yeah.
Don't you think, Tyler?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think a lot of the points we spoke of early or prior to the match did sort of come out, being the size of the Inverleigh fellas, that not tallest but the bigger build versus the more leaner, agile build of Anakie. I think it showed more as the game went on, especially into that last quarter. Anakie still had a bit more run, a bit more flair. They were able to move the ball a bit more freely around the ground anyway.
Well, giving votes is going to be a difficult thing, not because there wasn't any that were worthy. It was quite the other way around. I thought for Inverleigh, Dalton Grundle did a marvellous job leading them in the midfield with Jared Love. Those two were really strong, effective players. Luke Wilson pretty much rucked all day for the Hawks. Hardly got a chop out at all. Courageous. He won most hit-outs, won a few possessions of his own around the ground. A really dogged fight. Was probably his influence faded a little in the second half when Barter really went at him hard, and that was a great contest, and that probably kept him out of the votes. The other veterans, David Peel and Casey Meehan, were very good. I was very impressed with the game of Daniel Maher in the back line. I thought he did a really good job, stemmed a lot of flow, and for players on the outside for Anakie, Josh Mawson was very good. Billy Goodwin was a good player across half-back all day, as was Matt Denman. Jaden Davey popped in and out. I mentioned Barter was really good, but in the end I've decided to go votes. One vote to Porky Bacon for Inverleigh for really lighting up their forward line for most of the game. He couldn't really get his hands on it in the last quarter when they really needed him. Bosley's finished with 6. You can't sort of keep your eye away from that. It was a fantastic performance from him during the afternoon, and kicked a couple in the last quarter to really seal the game for them. He's an important target all day. And look, I mentioned that Luke Dalhouse doesn't kick the ball a long way, but he probably would have had it 40 times. He did a lot of great defensive work, a lot of hand passes, cleared congestion, allowed players to get out on the move, and most of his kicks hit the chest of a teammate. So to me, his game was outstanding, and the reason why his side were able to prevail, in my humble opinion.
Okay, so you've gone Bacon, Bosley, Dalhouse.
Yep.
I've gone Alex Gear, 1 vote, out in the far wing. Played in that side all day. Not a flashy type player, but was able to find plenty of space out there by himself. I think of Hennessy did it for Thompson a couple of times. They just seemed to have a player back behind the ball, and that's where they went to. Mawson, for me, was a very good player for most of the day, and I thought he was one of the reasons that acceleration from the contest, which got the ball forward for Anakie, made a difference. And I gave my 3s to Bacon. I just thought his first half, and especially his up to the 3/4 time, he was actually moved out of the full forward position to put him up the ground a little bit further, because I think the last time we saw this bloke play, he played on a wing against Bannockburn, and it was exceptional that day, and he's had a pretty good day today. So it wasn't his fault that the Inverleigh side went down. But again, the players that you have mentioned on both sides, and probably more so on the Inverleigh side than the Anakie side, were standout players. As I said, you mentioned Dalton Grundle. I liked the game of Condi on Dalhouse, but again, you said Dalhouse had racked up a number of possessions. Luke Wilson by himself in the ruck all day is just a marvellous workhorse in there, and hit the contest between Riddell and Barter was excellent. So again, they're blokes that maybe should have come in. Daniel Martin, the 3/4 time, was in my votes, but then he got injured and didn't play much in the last quarter, which probably took him out again.
I'm going to go Barter. I'll do one first. I'm going to give 1 to Dalhouse. His second and third quarters were fantastic. No doubt about that. He had heaps of the ball, always hit a chest, but I feel he was a slow starter in the first, and I feel like he sort of didn't get that much in the last quarter. So I'm going to go for 1 for Dalhouse. 2, I've gone with Bosley. 6 goals is nothing to wave your hand at. And I think for 3, I've gone Barter because of the impact he made, not only in the centre but around the ground. Dropping forward to be the second man forward once they'd moved Lever back. He was also very, he used his body well around the ground on Wilson, and I think it probably made a big impact on Wilson having that hard body come in, hitting him, making him run that extra bit more than, if he had been Riddell as the main ruck for the whole game. Wilson might have been able to, preserve himself more. I think having Barter in there, pushing his body, making him work harder for it, opened that game up, and I think that he had a big impact across the quarters, all 4 quarters as well.
Well, that makes it interesting for you, Rob, because you're the man in charge with 3 blokes on 4 votes.
I'm only just arrived. You're the man in charge.
I'm not the man in charge. I'm taking it back.
We give out 3 awards. Grubby, send me a text. Tell me what you do when 3 players have tied on 4 votes each.
You know what the comment will be? You blokes know nothing about football.
Yeah, that's right. And he'll just decide anyway. No, well, I'm not going to be bold enough to do that. I'm more than happy to have a bit of a reassessment, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different players have received votes. We've got 3 on 4, 1 on 3, and 1 on 2. So we've got a broad cross section. So we might scratch our heads in a little while and work out what we're going to do to allow Steelo to get home, because it's 3 minutes to 5. Elvis Presley is tuning up in the green room
where we're going next week. Will we, Rob, or?
I'll leave that up to you and Grubby during the week. Steelo, thank you so much for your day. Thank you, listeners. Hope you've enjoyed the game as much as we have.
Yes.
Sponsors,
thank
very quickly.
Morris Finance, Buckley's, PNR Foods and Elders. Thank you, our quarter-by-quarter sponsors. And also thank you to Raiders Bingo, Kempy Engineering for their Read the Play, Routley's Bakery. The big men do indeed fly for the Routley's Pie. Grubby, you'll have a crack at me for that one, no doubt. Corio Bay Health, Connectail Victory Trophies and Promoted Trophies. Of course, to the Hotham Hotel, the Yards and the Comnafine. Thank you very much for all your support throughout the years.
Good on you. Thanks, Dillo. Back to you in the studio.